Just Jake on the mic, spaz up in the dome. Review game so tight, call it YouTube home. In the summer when we breaking it down, CM Punk, John Cena tearing up the town. Broke half on fire, no one spit it better. Reviewing like a beast, no one does it clever. Cena through elbows, Punk through shade. Chains clang, bodies bang, rivalry displayed. Slanted to the chains like lions in the cage. Toronto crowd wild, unleash all the rage. In the summer, just Jake got the insight, give you all the thrills. Every move, every glance, he breaks down the skills. Fast holding it down, he deep in the zone. Chamber review so slick, it can melt stone. Hot spots, hot spot, hot stove. In the zone, in the zone, in the zone, in the zone, in the somewhere where we breaking it down. CM Punk, John Cena tearing up the town. Broke half on fire, no one spit it better. Reviewing like a beast, no one does it clever.
What's going on, ladies and gents? Jake, aka Countdown Ended, coming to you live, hopefully without the echo. I hear myself. You should only hear me once. We'll find out what's happening here. For some strange reason, I clicked go live and then suddenly it decided to allow me to hear myself and everything in an echo. So when you're speaking, you feel stupid because you're hearing yourself at the same time, so it makes you talk a little funny, but we're going to power through it because I'm not alone. That's right. I've got the lovely, the excellent, the sexy, the beautiful Cody's in the house here. Let's go.
How we doing?
We're doing well, my friend. We're doing well. No echo here, says Paul. We're hanging in there. This was an excellent episode of SmackDown. Holy hell. They came out like a ball of fire here tonight. They wanted to deliver, and that's exactly what they did. I'm a little upset because, selfishly, no Cody Rhodes. I'm a little baffled. I thought he was advertised for tonight. I know card's subject to change, but that's a big one. That's a very big name missing from tonight, certainly. The ending was worth the wait, though. That TLC match was worth my weight in gold, I'll tell you that. The opening with Cena and Randy Orton was a lot of fun. We'll be breaking down everything, and then we'll be bullshitting and hanging out with the chat. Hopefully everybody's doing well tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Into Somewhere. We're doing the live SmackDown after WrestleMania edition, so we're here to hang out with you, beautiful, lovely people. I gotta remember, take my eye drops. Jesus, it's one of those days, but, Cody, what'd you think of SmackDown off the rip?
I thought it was decent. I thought the beginning was great and the ending was great. And the middle kind of was meh besides Aleister Black returning.
I agree with you. There was some really good things here. There were some surprises. And then they set up some other stuff that I'm not really excited for, selfishly. It's my own opinion, I know. A little controversial, but not exactly what I'm ready to, scale the walls and jump the fence for. I genuinely... I need a whoa button. No, that's Liz. She's got the whoa. I got the Cody Rhodes chant. Maybe I'll get the other in a divorce. I don't know, but I'll keep the Booker T.
I like it. Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, man. That's right. So they started, pretty damn hot yet again. They have a hard time on SmackDown, especially since they've gone back to the USA Network and returned to the 3-hour format. When it was 2 hours, it felt exciting, fast-paced. They don't book 3-hour shows great to begin with. Raw has not even been a 3-hour show since it went on Netflix. It's been 2.5, 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 10 minutes. Even a little bit more this week. I think it was like 2 hours and 40 for the follow-up for Mania. But besides that, it's been pretty much sub 3 hours. And with all the commercial breaks they have here, I mean... They're still not saving enough time. They seem to have a struggle to carry things forward. They lose that momentum pretty quickly, sadly. But all in all, I think it was a good show. They were live tonight, April 25th, 2025, live in Fort Worth, Texas, at the Dickies Arena. We're live on the USA Network. Anywhere else not in the U.S., you lucky bastards watched on Netflix. I did as well, but... We had ourselves Joe Tessitore, who I enjoyed thoroughly tonight. He was damn good. I appreciated him taking over for Pat and Michael Cole the other night. Michael Cole came back eventually, but I liked how Joe just ran out there. He was not really, prepared in a sense. He wasn't fully dressed, didn't have his tie on. He throws his jacket down, and that's what made it seem more realistic was that they played into it as if it actually happened, and those are the things we like to see. Made the attack feel even more brazen and daring, especially Gunther got suspended for it. Now we got to see what comes from this. It's exciting, and I like Joe Tessitore. He did a great job tonight, especially in that main event. He and Wade were a lot of fun. All in all, though, I'm not too confident about the women's division. Okay. I think he's really good.
I don't like sometimes where he just talks and on SmackDown tonight we will have in this slow verbiage. I don't know if I like that sometimes.
Granted,
he does that once in a while.
He has had some issues adjusting. He's a little formulaic, but I think overall he's gotten himself to adjust to the pacing quickly enough, and he gets out a good deal of information. He doesn't stumble over his words as we've had before. He's good about, painting a good picture. He tells a good story. He's very animated when he needs to be, and he doesn't seem extra. He's not hyperbolic when he speaks. You don't feel like he's being exaggeratory. For the most part, he says it how it is, and I've enjoyed him. He brings that little bit of realism, that sports out of the sports entertainment. So I've enjoyed Joe Tessitore. I like what they did with him on Raw, having him fill in after the attack from Gunther. They start off tonight white hot. They bring in John Cena right away, not waiting a second. They are going to have him there, and they are ready to strike. So. Excuse me, John Cena comes out.
I'm sorry, I was.
You're good, bud. Cena comes out. He makes his entrance. He's got his usual green T-shirt, but the man is colorless essentially. Besides that, he comes out just the black and white Tron, the words John Cena on the ramp and around him, and that's it. And like he said, he's not going to give the fans anything extra. No new music, no new merch, nothing changed. Just more John. And that's what we got here. We got very, very loud cheers, then some boos, then the Let's Go Cena, Cena Sucks chants. Just as soon as Joe had come out of the timing and, got his ass beat by Orton the other day, that was pretty quick, it was still a great moment. People forget that. It was a moment for Orton to be celebrated at Mania, and he shared it with someone that's up and coming, a rising star, and that is going to be really the future of WWE. It won't be long before the TNA champ no longer holds that title and makes his way to WWE. But alas, Joe was not there tonight, sadly. He didn't appear, but we did have Randy Orton come out, and right after Nash introduced Cena as the greatest of all time, and he said that he's gracing Fort Worth, Texas for his last time. That's it. This is all you'll see my presence for, and that's when Nash gets out of the ring, and just as John's going to talk, Orton comes out. He's so jubilant and happy. He's effervescent. He is enjoying himself to the fullest extent. I used to not be thrilled with face Randy. His heelish style is rather boring at times in the ring, but I preferred the stories because he was more menacing and calculating and scary. He was a really good villain. As a face, it was always a little lacking, especially since his in-ring style was safe. He wasn't doing anything overly spectacular. He's great at what he does, but he wasn't, burning down barns either. Now, seeing him have fun, he's fallen into this elder statesman role, but he's so revered and respected, but for a reason. He's earned it. He's worked hard for these fans for a long time now, well over 2 decades. And Randy just comes out and starts cutting him down and said that, you did all this for so long, more than anyone in this business. You granted the most wishes. You granted more than anyone ever in history. And you can't tell me that all those sick kids didn't leave with a piece of your heart. And he looks at John and he says, I think you need to have kids. It'd be a better place if there were a bunch of square-jawed, big forearm kids running around here. He said, you having kids will make you a better human being. And Cena looks menacingly pissed. He is agitated. He is hurt. And I'm laughing in the chat as well, you know, at El Grande Briticano. He says tables, legs, and chairs. Yes, the Street Profits using a man's prosthetic leg is definitely a highlight of the night. Absolutely.
That was fucking great.
That was hilarious. Talk about going with the flow of things. I saw them win the ladder match for their tag team titles at NXT when they had the anniversary show in Bridgeport, the 25th one. Originally, that was supposed to be, I think, in Texas, and it got moved to here due to some issues. And I'm telling you, they literally came out of nowhere. Montez ran off the, up the turnbuckle, jumped off, climbed halfway up the ladder with his leap, ran the rest of the way up and grabbed those belts, and the place came unglued. We partied with them forever. The crowd embraced them. So seeing them get that huge win tonight only showcased more of a reason as to why this should have been at WrestleMania. Yes, it was a great television main event, but these men killed each other for your your SmackDown after Mania, your go home from Vegas, I should put it. And I mean, you could have saved this for a pay-per-view. You could have saved this maybe for Saturday night's main event, even somewhat of a bigger audience than just SmackDown. I'm not saying it can't be there, but it was only announced last week. It's not like it's been built to for weeks. Yes, these teams have had endless problems, and we've had kind of a hot potato thing going on with the tag titles, but that doesn't mean that this match should have been on any SmackDown. It was incredible. They literally pulled out all the stomps. As we mentioned briefly, they beat people with prosthetic limbs, crunched and crushed through tables. They did a human piñata with chairs. They also managed to just kind of lightly tap his ankle. Ciampa looks like it looks like he can't be around any schools or near school children since he shaved, right, Cody? I mean, he definitely doesn't look.
I mean,
it's odd.
Oh yeah, I don't know about. I don't like his shaved.
He's got a very unique look now that he's shaved, and I don't know. It's a little bizarre, that's for sure. That's for damn sure.
Not the uniqueness you want.
But getting back to the opening, Cena's basically says, how dare you, and how dare you go ahead and say that, I should go ahead and have kids. How dare you, you come out here and you say you're going to make me feel better, and then you parent shame me, which is a great line from John. He's like, I'm glad you have children and you love them. Do you know the reason I don't have kids? Because I've spent the last 25 years raising yours. And their interaction between each other, the build, this maybe should have been the build to Mania even. Because everything they gave us with Cody just never got there. And I know I want to talk about it a little bit after the SmackDown review, of course. Everything that happened with The Rock, but it really feels like The Rock intentionally, pulled the strings to make certain things happen just to do this all out of spite. Since he lost his main event match last year, he wanted to make sure this year was about as foolish as it could get. And I know they said that fans should have tempered their expectations more, but everything they did and teased us with only added to the fire that was WrestleMania. So we kept saying, like, oh my God, wouldn't it be great if Stone Cold is there and comes out since he couldn't be there last year? That'd be so cool. And then they announce him for WWE World, and then he's going to be at the Hall of Fame, and it's like, oh, it's possible. They did it in a certain way where it seemed like they were listening to fans the entire time. And how did you not expect The Rock to come out when Travis Scott came out? Of course you did, because Travis Scott came out at Elimination Chamber, followed by The Rock. They set up that precedent. For Rock to go ahead and say, oh, I called Cena, I called Cody and said that this is on you two, I don't need to be there anymore. Really? Spaz was... they put the chamber in the dome. In the dome. Spaz went. Elimination Chamber. They didn't have a problem selling tickets. So The Rock saying that Ari Emanuel was asking him for help to push tickets. At the time where The Rock made his announcement, they had already cleared 40,000 seats. I don't... it all seems just like ego run wild, and it didn't work for him, brother. Sadly, we're getting great stuff now, and we're going to look back on it. One of the biggest heel turns in decades. Originally, I even kind of said that, it feels like it could be bigger than Hogan's, but it wasn't because of the follow-up. Hogan, transformed himself entirely, and John just gave us the you people stuff. At least now he's getting a bit more into it with the kids, and, I put my energy, into your children. You guys, once you get tired of me and anybody else, anybody you put your energy into, you're going to cheer for somebody else. And then they'll just be an outcast and a guest. So he's like, that's why it's dysfunctional. That's why it doesn't work. It's manipulation, and the fans are manipulating the truth to make themselves feel good because they've done nothing with their lives. He said, I'm an outcast for doing something different. And Orton's like, I'm not getting through your thick head, it just goes too thick. And he's like, there's more than one royal family. He said that we're not just talking about his family, we're talking about Orton's family too, not just Cody's. He said, and he goes on, he's talking about everything that wrestling's done for him and generations, and that's when Cena gets pissed and tells him to shut up. He's like, I won this 17 times, you've won it 14 times. He said, you'll be forever frozen at 14 once I take the title home. Cena's like, you're just a babbling moron that's trying to make sure that, your family is, and he said, I'm trying to make sure your family's erased. So it was a great line. And he's like, Orton says, you think you're really going to be the last real champion? He's like, then put the title on the line and fight me right now on the spot. And Cena's like, no, I'm doing it because I'm saving you. There should be a match between us for the title, but not here. It should happen at Backlash in St. Louis. Why? Because when you fail, you will have no excuse. You can spend the whole day with your family. You can show up rested, but when you fail, you'll have nothing. And he's like, take a good look, because this is the last real champion, and you're going to see the last time what a real champion looks like. So Orton eventually, kind of slinks around, gets him with a random RKO into somewhere, and he picks up the title belt, poses on the ropes, and they play a song, and that was it. It was good. It was a very solid opening. Orton, like I said, as a face, is doing great.
And Randy Orton mentioned that too. He's like, what bizarro world do we live in where I'm the good guy and you're the bad guy?
Yes. Great point too. It was a good back and forth between these two. What I wanted, I'm happy that we got some progression finally. It was just a matter of, hey, is this going to go somewhere? Do you have a plan? Yes, we do. We're going to St. Louis. We're having it at Backlash. That's the announcement. We won't see John till then, I guarantee. I don't know if he has any more guaranteed dates, but as far as I've seen, that's it. So it looks like tonight might be it. We'll have Orton do things on SmackDown in between, and then we'll see John at Backlash. Remember, he's only got 25 dates left now. Magic number, 25. What do you think about that and the countdown that he had the other day, Cody?
I like doing the countdown. Stuff. I think it's creative. And I think he's staying a heel his whole run.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to be heel right to the very end.
And I think he might be a heel after that, because if you've ever heard, he said he'll be a man in a suit anytime he appears after that. So
yeah.
He might just be a corporate
It's possible. It really is. I'm looking for the, here we go.
I think R-Truth needs to do like basic thugonomics, Doctor of Thugonomics stuff. I think.
Could be fun.
I think.
Certainly, but
R-Truth
I love that
yeah.
RKO into somewhere. I
Did you know that group chat if you catch the drift?
Yeah, no, I did not. And I was happy to see what happened, so.
I wish there was more to that though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a start. I liked the little back and forth, and I even liked him and R-Truth. Like you said, they had their little quick back and forth, and we can see what happens going forward. For this is gonna sound terrible. I'm being selfish. I wanted Fraxium there tonight, and we got him. God damn it! They're called up. It seems like they. All right, Backlash is official. First match. There comes Fraxium. Hell yeah! But they're not in the main event. They're not in the TLC, and that feels like a real big missed opportunity. They didn't even have to win. They just had to look great, and they would have easily. Still a fun match. They got the crowd to chant, "This is awesome." I mean, they basically got beaten up before the commercial break. You had Los Garza, Angel, and Berto with Santos Escobar out there whooping some major ass. And eventually you saw Axiom catch Angel on the ropes. And he hit a big Spanish fly from the top rope. And then Frazier got that big Phoenix splash. 1, 2, 3. They got the win. It was about an 8-minute match. Good bit of a highlight to welcome them to the Blue brand. Not Brew Bland. Blue brand. Thank you, Jake. They've consistently had the best tag team matches on NXT for the last year and a half. With or without the titles, these guys are incredible. We'll see what happens with the draft, but I'm excited to see where these guys go and how long it takes them to become tag champs. I don't think they're going to be waiting that long for their opportunity.
Who's that again? Sorry, I was messaging my.
That would be Fraxium. I'm really happy that they came up.
Yeah.
They
like
just look
Fraxium.
so
They're really
damn good.
I mean, got to expect. But I like them. I think you need to hype these people up first because not everyone that watches the main roster crowds are more. I think casual fans are just watch the main roster.
Yeah,
I believe because that's why. You don't hear those loud reactions. And maybe it was just me. Speaking about the crowds, I thought they could have done better for that main event.
Yeah, I can see what you're getting at, but I think the crowd was pretty damn decent. They could have certainly been a bit more hype, but it was a lot of families. You noticed it was a heavy weighted children's night. If you looked at the audience,
did Aleister Black get a big pop?
Yes, he did. Thankfully, so they were happy to see him.
I saw
His
that
entrance
clip.
was great.
I missed that. I saw the clip on Twitter. Unfortunately,
basically that's what it was. It was a clip of a segment. He made his entrance. He hit the black mass, and we'll talk more about it in a little bit when we get to that point. But I really did like it, and then we got into something I'm not too excited for, really. So we had Tiffany Stratton come out, and she's talking, and basically she said that she went toe-to-toe with the greatest of all time, and that's when the fans booed Charlotte heavily.
Is everyone the greatest of all time or something? I've noticed they said that about everyone. John Cena's the greatest of all time. Liv and Raquel are the greatest women's tag team champions of all time, right?
Yeah.
Dominic's the greatest intercontinental champion of all time. What else? Oh, yeah.
A lot of
Carmelo
goats at
Hayes
this
is the
point in
greatest.
time.
Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner of all time. Everyone's the greatest of all time.
Yeah. It certainly is leaving a little bit to be desired, that's for sure.
And Charlotte is not the greatest of all time.
No. No.
Am I
mean,
the only
she's
one?
done
Maybe
very
I'm
well
a hater.
for herself, but she's certainly
Maybe
not
I'm
the
a-
greatest.
I like Tiffany, but her mic skills to me are. Maybe it doesn't fit babyface. Oh, toodles!
I mean, she's definitely got a hill to climb.
Yeah.
She needs a really good heel to go up against and for her to bite into.
Nia Jax ain't it? Though.
No, I mean the fans don't care for Nia at all to begin with.
With that whole segment, by the way, nothing to knock Naomi for, but what the fuck were those punches?
So they end up having a match where Jade comes out and she basically says she's like, I'll give you credit and I'll give credit where it's due, but your match with Flair was good, but I put an even it all it did was put an even bigger target on your back, and you've got nothing but time after finishing your business with Naomi. I have nothing but time after finishing my business with Naomi. Excuse me. This is what happens when you don't sleep for days. And Jade basically said, "I came to WWE to be a champion, and I'm gonna beat you, and that's all there is to it." So a ref runs out. They got a match on the spot, and I was pretty happy about it. It looked like it was gonna be a bit of a barn burner, but they said it's a non-title match, interestingly enough, when they came back. So they start the match, and you got a really early 2 count. You saw kind of the quick roll-up there, and Tiffany then goes and tries to offer her hand for a handshake, and then Jade grabs her for the headlock. And we saw a few, arm drag, spine buster, typical, middle work. Another good spine buster. That was a good 2 count that Jade got her with. We saw the handspring elbow into the corner, and basically Tiffany held control for a while, surprisingly enough. When they came back from break, Jade got a really great sit-out powerbomb that got a very close near fall, and the crowd appropriately chanted, "This is awesome." Basically, she hit another big drop kick to go ahead and get a 2 count of her own on Jade. Then Tiffany, she's starting to get mad. She's not able to take her out, and that's when Naomi runs in and attacks Jade and ends the match. So you got another no contest finish here. Sadly, I know they're saving the conclusion of this for another day. I get why, but it is disappointing. And so now we got more Naomi and Jade. If you were going to continue it, then you should have had Naomi win at Mania. Any else point here? Anything else to add? I mean, Naomi, I'm not a big fan of. Even with this heel turn, she's trying to push the gimmick and caution.
Yeah, I want to know what those
caution, because I'm wearing caution
were.
tape, right?
I want to know what those punches were.
They looked horrible, and she looked like she was auditioning for the role of somebody that's in like a mental asylum back in the 40s. Like everything was so and animated and like so extra. It
looked like she was just moving her arms up and down, not even punching. I don't know what.
She was flailing. Her hair was all, and she was just going nuts, flailing. She didn't look like she was attacking. It looked like she was swatting flies around.
It looked terrible.
Awful. And believe it or not, Jade looked solid in this match with Tiffany Stratton. She didn't look as green as she usually does. She was competent. She wrestled well. She had near falls that were believable. She was good. She wasn't great, but she was good. They have a lot of great talent, and even more great talent on the way from NXT. So you really have to be providing something. And what does Jade have? That look. She's very tall, very muscular. She's certainly one of a kind in that regard. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Oh, well, Pico.
No.
So then, out of nowhere and into somewhere, Nia.
Into somewhere.
She gets her.
You botched.
No, all intentional. So, all intentional.
Oh,
Nia runs in, attacks, and Lord Botch comes following through like always. And she.
Oh, that's the botch we were talking about. See, that's why I was, that's what I was getting
That's
at.
right. Big botch. And Nia just goes ahead and she starts hitting Tiffany from behind. And then she's looking at Naomi and she hits her big fat ass leg drop. And then she does the Annihilator. She grabs the belt, she holds it up, and her and Naomi are basically kind of mutually respecting one another. They walk out, but disappointment. So, I don't want to see Nia Jax. She didn't do a bad job with her role as the heel champion for that point in time, but it got old quick. She's improved since she's come back. She is basically, she's supposed to be that heel monster role, but no one wants to see her. No one believes her. She doesn't even feel like a threat to the title. It's barely just a mere stepping stone until they get a better feud in place. I could think of many other women that would be better, showcased here to go against Tiffy at this point. This is not a good chance. Not at all. I think the fans are going to shit all over this and probably revolt a bit. it just
What?
we didn't ever get the final conclusion between Nia and Tiffany. I understand that's why they're doing it. You know, Tiffany turned on Nia. She cashed in on her and basically, you know, cost her the title in the match and screwed her over so she could get the belt for herself. And
She
then
did what?
that made her the face out of it. I mean, Tiffy turned on Nia, you know, and
Oh,
she did when she went ahead and cashed in her Money in the Bank. She came out originally under the guise that she was helping Nia retain, and then she
turned
went
on her?
ahead and turned on her and cashed in. So that's how she got the belt, and that's when Charlotte chose her to go against at Mania. So we never got that proper conclusion where Nia goes and tries to get her vengeance. Problem is, Nia's the heel. No one wants to see her get revenge on Tiffy, you know? Tiffany Stratton doesn't deserve that. It's Tiffy time. We want to see her celebrate, look good, and go fuck up some other people in the ring. That's not Nia Jax. So Nia wants to go ahead and she wants to, I guess, finally conclude that chapter of her story. She needs to get her revenge on Tiffany for turning on her. Fine. But hopefully after Backlash, this is no more. And seemingly the Backlash is May 10th. From all things that I've heard, the draft is supposed to be not the week after, but the week after that. So it'd be like the
is it just
19th.
me? Am I the only one that can't stand the draft? Well, I don't mind it. Here's my thing, though. I want it to change. It needs
Okay.
some,
How?
you know.
What would you do to change
I don't
it?
know if you. I don't know if you just. But I just don't know. Like that's the issue as well. It's like, well, do you like the draft?
I've accepted the draft. I don't mind the draft. I wish the
My
draft
thing is,
didn't exist. I'd rather everybody just be on the card like we used to watch Raw growing up. And I know they wanted to showcase talents, but okay, so just have some stories on one show and some story on the other, but no hard, you know, line in the sand. You don't need to say,
My
well,
issue
these
is that
people
they
could only
do-
be here, because then when they meddle and mix in, it's always confusing and non-logical.
but that's my issue too with the draft. Like they do this, and then why is Randy Orton on Raw, RKOing Cena, and on SmackDown? And you get what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, but there's a draft going on. Randy Orton is a SmackDown star, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting.
No, you're right. He's SmackDown, and I don't know. There's it just leaves a lot to be desired here. I don't mind, you know, the original setup with Cena. That's good. Him and Orton, it makes sense. Face Orton, heel Cena is a totally way to flip it on its head. We haven't seen them two in that regards before. Their rivalry got to the point where it was just peak Super Cena. I bring it up all the time, but WWE, their Vault channel just actually put this up. The match where it's the I Quit match, and Randy Orton handcuffs Cena to the turnbuckle above his head, and he's got him there, strapped up to the top, and he is beating the shit out of him. I mean, he's fucking this boy up. He's hitting him fucking hard. So he hits him with everything but a goddamn gun. He hits him with the kendo sticks and chairs, and I mean, they just beat this man. Him and Legacy, I believe, was there as well. John eventually somehow manages to escape, kind of like pulls himself up, and he uses the chain of the handcuffs to wrap it around Orton's neck for the STFU, and he tapped out right away. And that's when I was like, I need a break. I need to get away from the Cena main event. It's not for me. But thankfully, John, he was able to reinvigorate himself with the U.S. title. He had that really good, interesting rivalry with Rusev, and then from there, he got the U.S. title, and he made it mean something again. He made it important.
See, here's my issue. People were bitching and complaining when he beat Rusev, but like,
Yeah.
I think it worked out. I think it was needed, or that title wouldn't. That title would just be dead now because he was probably
absolutely.
still the last. Has there been a good reign since him?
Not that
I don't remember.
I'm sure there has.
Like I know the Intercontinental
Since John's?
title.
Oh, since John's, yeah. There's been a few U.S. title reigns. I'm
Who?
Hard pressed to pick it off the top of my head. I guarantee if I wasn't so tired, I could pick it up. But someone in the chat will be like, oh, what about this one? And I'll agree entirely. We've gotten some decent runs. John made that belt what it was because, I mean, he even defended it against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Remember? And he lost it. Title for title thing that happened. So, the man that was the former unified champion that held the biggest belt is now essentially taking a step back with the U.S. title, because that's how it looked to begin with. It looked as if like, oh, they're making him take a step back. What is this? Is he on the way
Speaking
out?
about Cena titles,
he made it matter.
I know he's probably going to hold on to the WWE title until the end of the run, right?
That's a thought.
But
I mean, seemingly.
I think, is he really going to go a career without winning the Intercontinental title? Because that's prestigious too, in a way. I would feel like you would want to say John Cena held that title.
I don't see him grabbing any other belts. It would be a fun idea, but
See, I can't
then
believe
it's not
Cena's
being
never
yield,
won.
you know, being used. You don't want to yield too many things that can't happen or at least stuck on the wayside.
If he's going to be the GOAT, you would want to say he's done everything, right? He's not a Grand Slam champion, is he? No. Right?
No.
'Cause he's never.
No.
I feel like if he's going to be called the GOAT, he needs to do everything.
I think John's held the IC title, right? He has to be.
No,
No? Not once?
I don't believe so. Maybe he.
You might be right.
We need to look that up. I thought maybe I'm wrong.
We'll see.
Has he won the title?
We'll see. Maybe the chat will know, but now you can hear the typing, you can hear me breathing, and all that stuff. I don't know what happened, but I don't know why it changed to international. It said intercontinental, and it went to international.
International. That's happened to me before, like posting stuff on Twitter, and
No,
those
he's not
people.
won it. Okay, no.
So I feel like you need that, right?
AI says this. You ready? John Cena has won a record-breaking 17 world titles, surpassing Ric Flair. Cody Reigns, with 6 titles, has 1,316-day reigns before losing the title to Cena. Interesting.
Cody Reigns.
Cody Reigns. That's what it says.
Oh, is that me?
I can't make this up. Hold on. Ready?
I was impersonating Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns
Look at
at the
this.
same time. That's
Gotta love
AI.
Gotta love
me.
AI. John Cena. Cody Reigns. See? Cody Reigns. That's
So
hilarious.
they caught on to my shenanigans. Huh?
It's just funny how wrong AI is at times, and people trust it. Like me with the label here with the banana in the background. That was AI that somebody made me. And notice there's 2
People
ends
think
of banana
AI is
there.
going to take over the
But
world.
It took, in fairness, it took everybody this long because I've had this since like October, and Pico just noticed now that it's spelled wrong. So, not too bad. I just liked the look of it and thought it was funny. So, I didn't care about the misspelling, Out of everything I've got to worry about, that's not it. But make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. We're going to be live this Sunday. Group of us, going to be fun. Watching TNA. We'll be over there watching the pay-per-view for Rebellion. Going to be an awesome card that I previewed on the Spaz Phoenix YouTube channel. You can go ahead and check that out. Link to that video is in the description box down below, as well as Cody's info and all that other jazz. Going to be a fun one on Sunday, though, folks. You're not going to want to miss it. Go ahead and join on in. So then we get what? LA Knight, right? I believe. Oh, no. This is, we had Jacob Fatu come out with Solo. And we had Solo kind of trying to basically say that he's the reason that Jacob is champion. Basically, he said, you wouldn't be there if it wasn't for me. And that's when Jacob grabs the mic and said, don't get it twisted. And I told you, that I would win the U.S. title and bring it home to the family with or without you. So then he holds up the title and he's like, I know the title makes me America's most wanted and a menace to society. And that's when LA Knight's music hit. And
Jacob Fatu is going to turn face soon, right?
yeah, him and Solo have to feud shortly. They're laying the groundwork again here. The seeds have been dropped and planted for a while now. We've seen the interactions with them. Solo's jealous. Jacob is being portrayed as just hungry for, achievement. He wants to succeed.
Yeah.
He wants to
And I would do
become
it
a
the
champion.
other way around. I don't like they have this ass backwards where Jacob Fatu's just ripping the mic out of it and just bossing him. Solo should, because Jacob Fatu's going to turn into the face. So I think Solo should be bossing him around a bit. I know Jacob Fatu
Yeah.
cannot hold his own, but I think it should be the opposite where Solo's taking the mic out of his hand and saying all this
Yeah.
like crap, and then eventually before the turn happens, Solo tries to demand him to hand over the United States title, give it to me.
I can
kinda
see them
thing,
doing
because-
that. Who I love you so. If you love me, who do you follow? Who do you bow down to? Bow
So
down
you-
to the
you-
master. Break it down. Yeah. So I liked LA Knight here. He was cocky, he was arrogant, but he could admit, hey, I got beat. Credit where it's due. We had a hell of a match at WrestleMania, but I'm not worried about having a great match. I'm worried about winning. And he's like, I want a rematch now. And then this got even better. Drew McIntyre makes his entrance, and he's walking to the ring. He's going on and on, boasting and bragging. He's like, I destroyed Damian Priest in one of the most violent matches in not even just WrestleMania, but WWE history. And he's like, I thank Priest because it was an absolute pleasure to beat him in front of his family. And he's like, he basically turns to Jacob, and he's like, I want to get into fights. I want to fight the baddest dog in the yard, and I want to fight the baddest champion. Jacob, I want to fight you. And that's when LA Knight is basically, he's laying on the turnbuckle like a hammock, like a good old banana hammock. And he's like, wake me up when Mushmouth is done talking over here. So this is where they start going tit for tat. He's like, oh, God damn it, LA, you're always with jokes, always joking. And he's like, the only joke is your last title run. And that's when LA Knight basically comes over and he's like, your last title reign was a joke, but I can't even remember it.
Drew is usually good on the mic, but for whatever reason, when it comes to LA Knight, he can't win a promo battle with LA Knight.
LA Knight just kept getting the better of him, and that's when he's like, if you think you deserve a title shot, you should get in the ring and show him. And Drew's like, okay. And that's when, obviously, Nick Aldis comes out, books the match. And before the break, we got told that Zelina Vega was getting a title match. She's like, I'm speechless. I'm going to be able to challenge Chelsea Green for the title. 2 weeks ago, you beat her by count out, then you pinned her the week before. So,
yeah, I was enjoying Telsey. See, I'm doing it too. Jesus Christ.
it's the two of us. Don't feel bad. It's one of them nights.
I was enjoying Chelsea Green's United States title run, but apparently they decided to, we'll get into that.
Yeah, well, we're getting into it right now because that's what's next. So feel free to dive right into the shit. Yeah, I was disappointed too. I've loved Chelsea Green as United States champion. She's got her secret Hervis. Right? Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. The promos she's done on Twitter, X, TikTok, whatever you want to call it, everything with social media has been fire.
She has like that Karen kind of.
Yeah, she's made the belt matter. I wish they didn't have her lose it yet. It was good for that like, surprise moment. Oh my goodness! And yes,
that's what they were
rematches.
trying to do.
Yeah, that's basically nailed it. It's a SmackDown after Mania, so they needed something that's a big title. And oh my God,
kind
new
of just
women's
like WrestleMania
US champion.
Kind of like WrestleMania with the women's tag team titles. They had to do it.
Yeah, but at least that had a specific story. This might have a follow up to it. We don't know. It might do something with her secret Hervis not being there to help her. Granted, that could certainly be it. For the most part, though, it really feels like
not her because she's bullying them around.
Yeah, it just feels like they're not going to get anywhere with it. It like the story really was, hey, she lost, and they're going to move on.
Because they haven't really gotten anywhere with that because. How long has she like bossing around Piper Niven and Piper Niven
for a long time for Piper Niven, not long for Alba Fire, but she's only had the title for a very short span, it feels like, and really the only person she's had a feud with was Mia Yim. They didn't really give her a great chance. She got beat by Sol Ruca on NXT and then, defeated her in the one-on-one match after she lost a tag.
This is what I don't like about WWE sometimes. No disrespect to Selena, but Mia Yim's a way better professional wrestler.
Zelina kind of felt like out of left field 2 weeks ago, and it feels like the elephant in the room needs to be addressed. Now your husband's back. He makes his triumphant return tonight, and suddenly you're champion for the first time.
I don't know why they didn't have the whole LWO move over to SmackDown. I don't know if it's because Ray and Dom actually traveled together outside. I think I've seen
couldn't tell you. That is something that we should look into and see. That is a good question, and they had a decent match.
That's my
here.
main guess, though.
Chelsea and Zelina wrestled well. I didn't hate it. Did you like the match?
It was a good match.
It was. I mean, they did a lot of distraction stuff early on, and this was the referee that counted her out, so there was a lot of nods to that, and she was yelling at the ref a lot. Finally, both Piper Niven and Alba Fyre are getting in cheap shots, one after the other. And I thought he was going to, eject them sooner, but he did it right before the end of the match. So basically, he's Chelsea Green. She jumps through the ropes, and then she ended up getting tripped by Piper Niven, and it was a bit of a miscommunication. So now Niven basically caught Alba Fyre getting ready to punch Zelina Vega, and he was like, time to go. So you are out of there. Gets rid of both of them. See you later. You're on your way. And that's when Zelina hit her, whatever you want to call it, destroyer, Canadian destroyer, Puerto Rican destroyer, Canadian, Mexican, blah, blah, blah. She got the win. Short match. Didn't take much to put Chelsea away. Chelsea has been beaten as champ a couple times already without losing the belt, so they haven't really protected her. I think there's a lot more money in her defending the title and faces trying to get the better of healed Chelsea than her losing the title. I'll hold back full judgment till we see the follow-up, but it does feel like, they just did it to make Daddy happy, right?
My niece, it's her birthday. She wanted to let us all know, so let's say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. She wants everyone to say happy birthday. She's smiling.
Oh, there you go. Well, happy birthday. Hopefully you're having a great birthday.
There you go. Yeah, high five.
Big high five. I would sing, but would make everybody cry.
Yeah, you don't want us singing.
No. Happy birthday. No,
it gets scary.
I
don't want to do it either.
Jake and Hoagie, when that comes back, I will take requests. But happy birthday. Hopefully she's having a great day. Chat's coming in with their happy birthday wishes now.
Yay.
Thank you all. So this was a good match, but could have been a lot more. The match could have been more. The feud could have been built up better. She's gotten 2 wins. The first was the count out. The second was the pinfall. So the third, I just felt like there was a way to stretch this out a little bit more, or at least give them more time. I mean, it just it just felt like a quick, title change to make a headline, sadly.
Right.
I don't hate it by any means, but I'm certainly, not thrilled. I really, really like Chelsea Green. She's an amazing talent. She's very funny. Comedy in wrestling is very subjective and very difficult, and a lot of people don't enjoy it because of how it comes across. You already have to suspend disbelief to realize that all of this is fake or predetermined, however you want to put it. It's not fake, but yes, predetermined outcomes are happening. Foregone conclusion. Buy the shirt. And basically, you can only take so much. The invisible hand grenades and all of the silly stuff that, you really have to be playing along and willing to play along to do so. And with her, she's done the comedy routine in such a way where it's not obtrusive and it's endearing. It doesn't seem offensive in the way that makes you want to have it be over with. It's very entertaining, and that's extremely difficult. I give her a ton of credit. And a lot of times she sticks with what I've commented on before, which WWE is seeming not to do lately. And that's following by Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is often the best, and the most logical outcome. You hear, hoofbeats, what is it? You hear, think horses, not zebras, same idea. And a lot of times they really kind of jump the shark to get certain places, and I don't quite understand why, but I'm okay with Zelina Vega winning. It really feels like they did
That's
this
what
to make her husband
like.
happy.
I like Zelina, and I think that's part of it too, to make Alistair happy. But here, so I just don't think they should have ended it so soon. And also, I think Zelina is better off with the LWO. As I said again, maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel about it. But
Yeah, I mean, you're not entirely wrong, but
I want to look into that. Is it because Ray and Dom travel together?
it could be.
And it has to be the only reason why they didn't move
It could be.
the rest of them with.
And it certainly is a possibility. I mean, if they're traveling together, it could be why they didn't have them go ahead and
Because
split
I've seen photos of that before recently and saying it's ruining kayfabe.
Really? There's a bunch of things like it.
I mean, they're
Kayfabe
allowed to
doesn't
hang out.
exist
They're
anymore.
family.
I mean, really, kayfabe doesn't exist anymore. It hasn't in a long time. Kayfabe existed when you needed to make people believe wrestling was real.
Exactly. Like in interviews, Dom still says my deadbeat. Like,
Yes.
but obviously, when they're not trying to be in front of any cameras, they're gonna hang out. They're
Exactly. But no, they needed to go ahead and make people believe this is real. That's all there is to
And
it. It's real.
they
This
try
is
to
what
tell you
happened.
all the time it's fake now.
But they
Any
don't
chance
want to
they get.
hear it. And is
Even
it
on
fake?
the
No,
TV
it's
show.
not fake, but it is predetermined. And
Even
what's-
on the TV show, they let you know.
yeah, and what's more interesting, more often than not, is that kayfabe happened at a time, like I said, where it needed to exist. You know,
Like
the
Attitude
carnies
Era,
were
it
out
worked.
originally to sell wrestling because you want. They would charge people so long, and they would have wrestling matches that would last 5, 6, sometimes 7 hours. The guys would basically just stand off and hold each other, and there has to be a conclusion, and then there wouldn't be, so they could charge them to come back again. Basically, the longer they stayed, the more they got paid. So they would do all these type of things, and some of it worked, some of it didn't. You know, but carnies
The
did
only
it
thing
in
that-
that regard to get people in the building to sell the ticket. We've already got celebrities. We've
Here's
got
what
people
bothers me,
doing
though.
this now. You know.
The only time it bothers me when they break it, like it's not a thing anymore, like you said, but like when John Cena's heel turn happened, what The Rock and Triple H right away saying, yeah, so me, Cody Rhodes, and John Cena all talked this heel turn out right after it happened. I'm like, shut up.
Do I wish they wouldn't do that? Yes, but I don't get bothered by it anymore either. It's
Like-
just like,
like,
a
it doesn't
movie
bother
coming
me
out
because
and
I
talking, like
know
the
it's
Avengers
fake.
doing a panel at
Well, not
Comic
fake.
Con, and them going
Don't,
ahead.
by the way, never say to a wrestler's face that that wrestling is fake, because
Oh, I know. We don't want to use that F word. Granted.
oh, they hate it.
Because they're right too. Because I mean, you look at what their bodies go through, all the punishment that they take, all the brutal beatings that they've gone through mentally.
That's why
Never
people
mind
say they're
physically,
tougher than
mentally.
UFC fighters.
And look
They
at that.
are.
War happy birthdays coming through in the chat. Thank you guys.
Because a UFC fighter, when they suffer a legitimate injury, like they break a bone in their leg or something, they'll fall to the ground and start crying. And these wrestlers break a leg and they'll be like, oh, the show has to continue. Let's do it.
Jada McDonough, who returned this week on the Raw after Mania, we noted that on the review the other day. Check that out if you haven't seen it yet.
Re-
But
Professional wrestlers are the toughest athletes, and I don't give
absolutely,
a damn.
he deflated and popped his goddamn lung.
Liv Morgan like busted her whole head open, right? And she was like, she just fucking put. I don't get it. These wrestlers, I don't know what happens in other sports. You see someone get hurt and they oh.
It
Then,
still makes me laugh thinking back to Sin Cara when he broke his finger. His finger was
Oh, give me a
bent
break.
sideways, and he was like Xing himself, being like, "I gotta quit.
Here's the thing. I didn't even do that. I used to play football, and I broke my finger, and I played the rest of the game.
I pulled my groin when I did flag football, and we still finished the play. We still won. You know? It's like
They did was bandage my fingers, and they said get back out there.
yeah, especially if you anything with the fingers, hands, toes, it hurts. But there's not much you can do to fix it unless you really broke it and ripped it off.
That's a real thing though. What's Shin Cara? The
the
original.
first one, yeah, the original Sin Cara went ahead and
What was his name? That his name's like what? Fucking,
Hunico, I forget it. What
is that the original Sin Cara?
I believe
Hunico?
so. I thought so.
Isn't one of the Tongas or whatever Camacho or whatever
I forget now.
Hunico's sidekick?
Let's see.
We're getting
that
off
that
this
might have
script.
actually been the second Sin Cara. Actually, no, Mystico was the
Oh, Mystico. That's right.
Mystico.
Mystico's the original.
yes.
And what's fucked up about that is he Mystico used Sin
Hunico was the
Cara,
second one. That's who it was.
and he got to keep the Sin Cara name, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
And that's fucked up. I hope he gave it back to Mystico in a way. I know Mystico sucks, but that was his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he did, right? Because he's Mystico now. Does
Yeah,
he still wrestle?
I don't think so. So he dislocated his finger and he forced himself to stop the match. It's from August 19, 2013. So he basically dislocated his finger in a match against Del Rio. And as soon as it happens, he goes ahead. I don't know if they have the moment where it happens here. Let me see. Nope. Rob Van Dam comes out and yeah, right here. So
That's weak shit. Dislocated,
I
not
won't
even
play
broke.
the audio,
So I
but
broke
I
my
had,
finger.
I had to find it here. So here we go.
I broke
Smart
my
Voice.
finger playing,
Yeah, doing what?
playing football, and broken, not even dislocated. And they told the coaches, they like to make you tough. They're like, get back out there,
Yeah, no kidding. So go ahead and check this bad boy out right here. When he
Let's see
lands
it.
to the outside, right there, he's calling over the ref. The way he landed, he jammed his finger. So he holds up his finger, but before that, like he's throwing the X when he lands, and it was just so funny because like right there, he did it off the top of his head. He jammed his finger, and instantly he's like, and he's throwing up the X.
Give me
And
a fucking break.
he ended the match, and they basically did it in a DQ, but the
JD
doctor
McDonough
called
put
it,
on
and
a
then they sent
banger
RVD
after,
out there to basically make people happy. But just a
But-
classic awful moment.
It's embarrassing because JD McDonough, like you said, punctured his lung and
Yeah.
put on a banger.
Mm-hmm. Tension pneumothorax.
All that.
Goddamn. I've broken and jammed fingers. I've dislocated my elbow and my shoulder, and I've sprained my wrist. I broke all my fingers. I've done a lot of dumb shit. So
It's fucking pathetic. Every wrestler would probably be ashamed of him because we just named like a few people that suffered worse injuries and put on great matches during that
Yeah.
injury because
No
Liv Morgan
kidding.
busted her head open,
yeah.
right?
And
And
when Balor busted his head open, and they kept trying to stop it, they had to staple
Yeah,
his head
him too.
shut. And he
that
stuck
Judgment Day
with
crew's
it.
been through a lot.
Yeah, no kidding. They've certainly bled their weight. Yeah, he punctured his
God
lung on
damn.
a hanger. Definitely hurts. You know it. No, he did it when he hit the corner of the table. That was extremely painful.
Even Michael Cole had to break his character of making fun of him because I'm surprised he hasn't returned as a face
That is a good point. I'm surprised too.
because everyone.
What's that? Oh, I thought I lost you there. So,
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Hold on, I'm gonna put her to bed. I'll be right back.
You got it. So
She's coming back in.
next up, after the heartbreaking Chelsea Green loss, Owen Hart did suffer the worst injury. So, yeah, rest in pieces there. We had Aleister Black's return. So The Miz is in the ring just a little bit before Carmelo Hayes was having a talk in the back with The Miz. They're standing in front of the Andre the Giant.
For birthday.
Oh,
go sleep.
yes, one more. We'll give her the Giant. Happy birthday.
There we go. One more. She said, but it's her birthday. She has all day tomorrow.
She has to. She got to be partying. I can't blame her.
Yeah.
So Miz was like, hey, I sacrificed myself so you could win. And he gave him a box, and he had the gold Andre the Giant head in there. I didn't know what the hell it was at first. I was watching on my phone. I had to zoom in. I'm like, oh, my God, it is Andre's head. It was hideous. And apparently it cost a lot of money, too. So he's like, I'm going to the ring. I'm going to get something off my chest. And you just see him staring at this gaudy, fucking gigantic skull of a necklace. Oh, God, it was awful. But That thing is hideous intentionally, but goddamn. So
Right.
we come back. The Miz is out there, and he's going on and on about Ray Phoenix, Joe Hendry. These guys just came in. Why are they getting their WrestleMania moments and matches? Hendry's nothing but an internet meme. He's like, I'm tired
Do
of
you
people
believe in Joe
showing
Hendry?
up. I do believe in Joe Hendry.
His name, man.
But
Say his name.
he appears. He's like, I'm sick of everybody getting an opportunity. He's like, I'm the Miz and I'm Blackout. And it was not. It was not anybody from the Spooky Bandit side.
Speaking
as far
about
as the
the
Wyatt
Miz,
Six, I thought we would get something.
I
from
thought it
them
was a Wyatt
tonight.
6 at first, though.
I-
I wasn't even thinking.
I
Aleister
wasn't
Black
thinking
for whatever
Aleister
reason.
Black yet. I was when the lights went off. I'm like, all right, that's gonna be Black because the Miz is gonna get attacked. I was like, all right, but when Miz
Because-
was first out there, I didn't assume it. The lights went out.
It made sense too because he's been afraid of the Wyatts and all that. So
That's kind of my first thought, but then I'm like, all right, he's going to be the feeder for Aleister. And it did announce next week Aleister Black versus The Miz for his first match back. I believe that's the only match announced for next
and
week.
let me say something about the Miz. I
Yes.
think he's overhated. People just hate on him too much. He's
The Miz
actually
is amazing. He's great at what he does. Miz puts
and
other
people say he's not a
people
good pro
over.
wrestler.
He makes others look amazing.
Miz can wrestle when he wants to. Like, look at those matches with Gunther. Look at the match with Dolph Ziggler.
He
Miz
has
can
earned his
wrestle when
flowers. He can wrestle. He can hold it down. He can do stuff. He just
He doesn't have to
simply
do that all
needs.
the time.
Yeah, he needs
And
to be
that's
given
something-
more credit. He may not be like the most exciting superstar in the ring or the most exciting promo, but
He
when
doesn't
you
have
need
to
him to deliver, he delivers. Think about Mania last year where he
Yeah.
won the tag title as a face, and everybody was going nuts for Miz and Truth.
Oh yeah,
He's
because-
certainly got both sides of the coin to work for him. He could be a face and a heel. He's better at the heel thing, but he can do both. He's extremely talented.
because you wouldn't have thought, because when they turned Miz face, I was even telling you, I don't know if that's going to be a good idea, but he pulled it off. Miz is actually one of the better mic workers in WWE. know
I actually did
people
watch
hate on
that,
him,
the
but
playback video with YouTube with Miz and Priest. That was a fun video. There was another one I watched recently too. Which one was it? Oh damn it!
Speaking about Miz and people shit on that zombie match, but like, besides the fucking bullshit at the end, the match wasn't bad itself though.
It was just the premise of
Priest.
them having to act afraid
Yeah.
and like they're actually getting eaten by zombies. and
I went
doing
back
all
and
that.
watched that. It's actually not that bad of a match.
It's not terrible, but it was pretty goofy. That was the problem there.
What were they doing? There was a favor for Batista, right? Because they were promoting.
I
one
think
of
so.
his-
Yeah, that zombie movie he had made.
And obviously, he would go to WWE first.
The one
because
in Vegas, yeah, where it was all about like the desert and stuff. But
that's what Rock and Batista, people like that do. John Cena, they can easily just have WWE promote their shit because they'll be like, of course.
yeah, I forget which playback it was. I just watched one too recently. I'm trying to look back now, but it was a lot of fun seeing the two stars together. But I remember seeing the one with Miz and Priest. It was excellent. Miz,
Wasn't
like you
John
say,
Cena
doesn't
and The
get
Rock
enough
supposed
credit.
to be in a movie together? Because I remember The Rock saying that. Like, I saw
I
that
thought
clip
so.
lately, but nothing came about it. Like, The Rock announced like he was going to be in a movie with my good friend John Cena, and nothing ever came out.
Yeah, I don't think
About
they,
that.
they ever got anything going forward. So you even got Seth Rollins on the NFL draft right now. Getting to pick draft picks. So
Oh shit, really?
yeah, can't beat that. Seeing him announcing at the 2025 draft. Go Seth.
I'm guessing for the Bears, right?
I'm sure, but I
He's
didn't
a
watch the
Bears
whole
fan.
clip yet. It was 10 days ago. Yeah, I know I saw it recently. Like I said, I just can't find the other one that I watched today. It was really good, but we then get the Miz out there. Like I said, he's still ranting and raving, and Aleister Black. The lights go out. He does his lovely entrance where the old theme, best theme. He's got the the rising platform that raises him upwards. He rolling his eyes in the process. He's a
Here's my thing.
scary bastard. It was a great
So-
entrance. I wish he had the House of Black entrance. I actually, minus the coffin lift, I wish he had AEW's House of Black entrance. They called him Aleister Black, but I like the theme, and I like the way the lights go off, and then he's on the turnbuckle, lights goes off, he's in the ring.
Can they use that theme?
No. That's licensed
I know
to
some-
AEW from Amenra and one of their labels, but yeah.
I know some AEW themes people have used going to.
Because they're royalty free,
Well,
yeah. Some of the like MJF's
royalty-free.
theme is royalty free, so people can use it. There's no copyright to it. There's a couple like that, but for the most part, they've contracted or licensed their own songs there.
That was
And,
something I learned a few months ago with the Hardy Boys theme. That was
yeah, that's
royalty-free because
that's
they
been
can use that on
everywhere. That theme.
I never
is
knew that
classic.
until they went to AEW. I'm like, wait, they're using the. I never knew that was a thing, but I'm an idiot, so.
It's a classic. They've used it in insurance commercials and all sorts of advertising. I mean, just that kick drum right at the beginning. That dook, dook, it's classic.
Something that fits them as well,
The echo, a little bit of that phaser. You get the reverb. It's just that one riff. Dun, dun, dun. So good. Oh God, that's so good. Brings you right back, right? And it's royalty free, so I mean, you can enjoy it as much as you want. But God, does that take?
Speaking
you back.
about the Hardys, I know we're not on anything goes yet, but SmackDown kind of bored me. So
Did you see TNA yet? I didn't get to
I did not
see
get
the Hardys bringing Nick Namath and his brother Ryan to the Hardy compound. All I saw
God,
was
really?
the very short clip of Willow dancing to Not Like Us, you know, and
I need to go
gotta
back and see
more
that.
of it.
Can-
It looks
wait,
hilarious.
you saw that part? You need to send me that.
Yeah, I have not seen anything but that one clip on Twitter. I retweeted it
People
earlier.
will shut on that, like, oh, that's so. But sometimes it's fun. It's good to have that shit. It's
Yeah.
just-
Oh, it was
funny.
funny. Absolutely. They had Willow out there dancing like
because
a son
wrestling
of a bitch,
fans
so-
don't know how to have fun.
That's what I'm saying. Again, with comedy and wrestling, things are subjective. You got to go ahead and be able to resonate and
Like
connect
people
with the audience.
shit on Pat McAfee, I think, too much.
I think so too. I think people get a little annoyed by him, but he is overly animated and is exaggerative because that's him. That's his
just-
character, but it's
yeah,
also who
he's
he is
supposed
as
to
a
be-
person.
Like when John Cena, that's the when Cody Rhodes said "Go fuck yourself," right? He's like, that's the craziest
Yeah.
thing of
Go yourself.
in the history
so
of saying
classic.
things. That's the
fit.
craziest. What did he like? That's
I forget
just
what Pat
McAfee.
said there, but I liked it. I liked his call. He's a little goofy at times. He's a little bit much, but he's fun and he loves it. That's what comes across with him. His passion and the affinity that he has from wrestling just reverberates
people
out
said
of his
Michael Cole didn't
fucking voice.
do a good enough job doing that because Michael Cole is like playing a loss for words and yelling like, "John, what the hell are you doing?" Like saying it like that because he's shocked. And
Disturbing.
he hit Cena with the title. John, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, see, he did. It was good. People said the commentary sucked for it, but
I like Michael Cole. I always have. I know people shit on him. He may not be everyone's favorite, and he's not mine either. But I do.
people
enjoy
hated
him.
it too. I even liked him as a heel. Like he I think he was a good heel commentator
He
because
wasn't
like
bad. He was very annoying, and I know it was heel heat for the sake
That
of heel
was-
heat
it was
there,
a-
but it was.
I think
a
it
lot
was
to
on
tolerate.
purpose. It was. He would. I thought it was always funny though how he would clap for the Miz when he was coming out. He would stand up and
Yeah.
it was done on purpose. It's supposed to be annoying, I think. So
Well, in a way, yes. Cole's had two renaissances though that I've been lucky enough to witness. The first is when he got paired up with Daniel Bryan for the Cruiserweight Classic, and you saw a new side of Cole, or at least a side of him that you've not seen in a very long time. He was very expressive.
what year was that?
2017, I want to say. Maybe
Him and Daniel
16.
Bryan were doing commentary.
They were for the Cruiserweight Classic, and they had that moment where the
Oh, yeah.
Burning Hammer came out, and they both went nuts. Like you could see the passion coming back out of Michael Cole because he had been berated and beaten down by Vince on the headset so many times. He just felt robotic and animated no more. He was just, a puppet. You pull his strings and he did as you commanded, and that was it.
I think eventually he was more free with Michael Cole at the end of Vince's time there in WWE.
I think
when
Vince
Pat
just
McAfee
gave
came in.
less of a shit towards the end and had other things on his mind, so he was kind of letting things be things. And plus, Michael Cole was also changing. Why? His second renaissance, joining up with Pat. They've become genuine
I noticed that more
friends.
at the end, like wrestlers you could tell had more freedom, and
Yeah.
because
I mean,
think
Pat,
he just gave a.
I think he did more than just save Cole from Gunther. He saved Cole's job because it seemed like Michael Cole was in a serious rut and his negativity was coming through the headset. It was being conveyed in such a way that people didn't want to always listen or tune in with him. And then somehow, some way, they got paired by the wrestling gods. But Pat McAfee came in and they just clicked. Once Pat was done in NXT fighting Adam Cole, baby, and going through war games and all that crazy shit, and he got on commentary, he's had that extreme passion for it for so long.
I don't think they liked each other at first, Michael Cole and Pat. Like I think Michael Cole embarrassed him in front of everyone.
A little bit, yeah. They had a weird working relationship, but it ended up taking off, and now they're the best of friends. And it
Michael
could
Cole
not be
told
better.
that story, and because Vince told Michael Cole to say something to Pat about wearing shorts, so because Michael Cole is the boss of commentators, so then
That's right.
Michael Cole yelled at Pat, and then Pat said, "Fuck this! I'm not doing this." And you made me look like a fool. Then Vince said, "Why are you saying anything to him? Who cares?" You know. So he switched it up when Pat got mad.
See, and
that's the kind of person Vince is, though.
Oh yeah, Vince would love to throw the blame onto other people all the time,
just to fuck with them.
Oh, he did that all the time. McAfee was not selling the choke at the draft, but I think you get choked a few days before, you should be okay by now. He doesn't need a neck brace for it. It's okay, Pico. But I've always liked their energy together. It's a bit chaotic, it's a bit frenzied, but it works in such a great way to paint a beautiful picture to what you're watching. I can be driving, listening to those two, and I know exactly what they're seeing because they describe it in such a way that it comes to life. That's what you need for commentary teams, and they do it in spades. They're a lot of fun. That's why I liked Wade with Joe tonight. It was Tessitore did a good job, and they flowed well together. They played off each other, and I like when they're not being exceptionally fake.
Maybe I'm being too much of a hater on Joe Tessitore, but
it's to each their own. I mean, granted, but the thing is that both sides of the commentary side, they're not being like when Cena used to come out and you hear Cole gush and oh my God, and number one. You don't get that as much now. Like when they're excited, they're genuinely excited about like Rhea Ripley. There's mommy. She's the ass kicker. She's the, blah, 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 blah. There's Stephanie Vacour. She's La Primera. She's, and you hear it on Raw. You see it on SmackDown. They get into it. That's what I love to see. That passion, the affinity. Michael Cole is around for all these years for a reason. He is damn good at what he does, and he cares. And I'm glad he got that passion back. Pat said he had a wrestling ring installed in his backyard in between, college stuff and then NFL, just so he could fuck around. I mean, he certainly wanted and manifested him being in the WWE. He's had multiple matches. He's wrestled at WrestleMania. What more can you say for Pat McAfee, really? He's done great for himself, so.
Pat McAfee's just great.
Yeah.
He's another person overhated.
I'm a little worried now with Aleister Black coming back. We've got Rusev back. We've got people coming up. I'm worried that some people are going to get lost in the shuffle again. We already had a gigantic list of people that were not on the WrestleMania show that probably should have been. Braun, Bayley, the list goes on and on and on. But then again, you kind of have to earn it, right? But there's only so much TV time as well. And again, like we said, we have the entire Wyatt Six out for the last 6 months because Bo's injured. And they couldn't do things. So Bo could have just not wrestled, like everybody else could have fought. And we see this happen, though, with most times in TV. They take people off and we don't really get much of an explanation. And we just get left in the dark waiting. Sadly, it seems like they have plans, but they're not exactly sure how to follow them up. And from there, they're just going to do what they want to do, it seems.
Yep.
Pills are good. Aleister Black, I'm excited. Out of everybody to return, he's the one I was looking forward to the most. He was the character that I felt like, much like The Fiend, didn't get a fair shake. Again, someone that puts in 110% effort, really, really pays attention to detail, like Karrion Kross. Like he has this great backstory that he develops, and he's got a way to work with the fans and make people believe. And then they just never really capitalized on him. They never did anything with him. They never gave him great feuds or stories or matches. He just was in the mid card, and then that was it. They let him go. And we've seen him as the House of Black for a while. And AEW did the same thing. He came in white hot, and then they paired him with the House of Black, and now he was a trios wrestler, not a singles wrestler. He didn't get to wrestle for the main title. He didn't get to be the number one guy that he probably could have been, because they straddled him with teammates that really no one wanted to see at that point. House of Black was good for what it was, but he still could have had it, but wrestled as a singles guy. It just, I don't know. His career has been marred by bad decisions and bad booking. He's a really great talent.
I think a lot of these people would have never went to AEW if they just waited a few more months, because they went to AEW at bad timing because Vince left like right after.
They were changing too, so WWE let a lot of them go, and they probably would have, like you said, hired them back sooner had they not gone elsewhere. But a lot of the reasons they let people go initially was budgetary. I mean, they did have a ton of people on the roster, and there was many they weren't doing anything with. But then when they got into
I don't know
it,
if I believe, but
they
at
were
the same
throwing
time,
money
you know
at some
damn well
people, though. They
Vince-
wanted to stay. They gave Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson $1 million contracts just about for them to stay, because they thought AEW was going to be a problem for them. And then it came out, and the TV show happened, and WWE went, oh, that's it? And that's pretty much when they decided to stop overpaying people. And from there,
because then,
they kind of lowered things.
because then you have Vince like saying shit about it, like when they did those quarter or whatever calls, and
Yeah.
Vince would be like, yeah, well, they can do that stuff over there. It's not going to work out for them in the long run with the blood and guts and all that.
Yeah. See, now Sweetie Pie Forever has a kind of interesting take. He says, was it just me when Randy Orton said, "over my dead body," really triggered John Cena? I know they are BFFs in real life, and it seemed like what Randy said, it really hurt John. I think John's just that great of an actor at this point. And he got you, hook, line, and sinker. Just the way they interacted, it almost felt like John took those lines personal from Randy. Like like it really hurt him.
John, that's just John being great at what he does, because I don't think Cena would. I don't think Cena gives a.
I don't think he gives a shit, but I mean, he could. You never know. But he said, I think Randy will be the one to bring back the old John. I don't feel so personally. I see why you would say that. The rivalry makes sense, but because they're going to it right away, I still am going to hop on Spaz's bandwagon and say it's going to be CM Punk.
I'm sorry,
he's John's biggest rivalry, I think.
At 0 miles per hour, but what line did they think hurt John's feelings or something?
Just the way he said, like, oh, it'd be over my dead body. You'd have to go ahead and you'll have to kill me to continue this way. And John just sold it in such a way that made him seem like he was taking this to heart. The comments about not having kids, but that was pretty much all the plan all along. I don't think Randy's going to be the one to be the assembler.
Yeah, Cena and Orton are best friends,
stop the feud. Yeah, I mean, they are.
Orton
good
knows
friends,
his limit, so.
Yeah,
and I
think
think
exactly.
Cena will let it go if it's Orton, because it's Orton.
Yeah, and I mean, this is all scripted, so no, you can't see his dead
They
body.
probably knew what they were going to say ahead of time.
Maybe you can ask Kobe, see how that works out for him.
Oh.
Any other comments about Aleister Black before we move on?
Well, it was a decent return. It was maybe I would have done it better.
I get that they wanted to tease people, but I wouldn't have done the vignettes building up to it. I either would have just had him come out as a surprise. I know they wanted people to tune in because, hey, we have a mystery wrestler, but no Cody was already a big blow to this episode.
They advertised him.
They did, and then not having the surprise. You knew you were going to have a wrestler, but it wasn't a surprise anymore. The worst kept secret. We all knew it was Aleister Black. So again, I would have preferred they had a silly thing, full-on surprise. Don't tell us, but they wanted to. And silly enough, again, they've pushed this surprise for weeks, being like, oh, it's coming, it's coming. But when you have a tables, ladders, chairs, and prosthetic leg match for your main event, and you don't go ahead, you don't, plan that weeks in advance and have that advertised as much as possible, never mind not have it at Mania. What a sin that is. We got to bring up charges on them for that one. Because I am greatly disappointed. Like I said, call the cops. It's some bullshit. So, okay, now we're building up. So we got Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight. They let us know the attendance was just shy of 12,000 people, so good on them there. I wonder if they broke another gate record.
Probably like 9,000, 10,000.
It looked like almost 12,000. That's for sure. So these guys basically...
Is that only for Mania they inflate the numbers?
Yeah, Mania they usually add some more stats too. Typically, they always pad those numbers out, but I'm not so sure if they did.
They're not the only ones that do that.
No. Granted, AEW did it for their big, London All-In show. That was a point of contention because Ospreay got the tattoo of the attendance on his arm, then found out afterwards that wasn't the right number because of the turnstiles. But WWE does it as well. So, LA Knight and Drew here. You got a big elbow drop for a good near fall right around the middle point of this match, and there wasn't much to it though. They battled to the outside. McIntyre basically puts Ellie to the table at that point. They just battle the hell out of each other, and then pretty much they get to the point where it looks like LA Knight's getting the upper hand, and Damian Priest comes out. He basically drags Drew out of the ring and just keeps hitting him with a flurry of fists, all these big punches. Bad Bunny versus Travis Scott. That'd be fun. Somebody's got to beat up Travis. And news reporting is saying that we're more than likely seeing a tag match come out of this with Cena teaming with Travis Scott. So Cody teaming up with somebody could be fun. You'll have to see what happens and who he teams with.
I don't know about that.
Does he have anybody left to trust? I mean, Cody's pretty much on the island all alone, it feels like. So.
Any bunnies around?
Maybe. This was an okay match. It could have been a lot more. Now Drew is the number one contender for Jacob Fatu's title because LA Knight, was basically losing via disqualification. But since Drew got hit, he won. So he was pissed off at Damian Priest, and they kind of jaw-jacked with each other. So that'll be a good match down the line, too. We saw R-Truth backstage with Cena. They finally had a really quick interaction, and he's like, hey, there's two sides to every story. You're the real world champion. I want to be like you when I grow up. You ever need anything, you just call, basically. Truth makes me laugh.
R-Truth needs to follow John Cena's career path. He needs to start doing his Doctor of Thugonomics things right now.
Yeah, right. Just go through all of Cena's career while he's there.
Yes,
Randy Orton needs to give Travis Scott a massive RKO. He's annoying and needs to go forever. Imagine going to a Travis Scott show and then he performs that WrestleMania theme song 10 times in a row. Fiend, 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 me. You got the nice little whining in the
It might be the worst song.
He
in
did
the
that
a
few different shows. He played that song 10 or 12 times in a row, and there was so many.
Is that
people,
even legal to do to somebody?
They were jumping and stomping so hard that it was some overseas festival.
Wait, people were excited.
People were the crowd for this was incredible. It was unbelievable. These people jumped up and down so hard that it caused an earthquake on the Richter scales.
Are those people okay? Normal?
They're all right, but yeah,
Well,
right
that
here.
song, though,
Travis
oh my
Scott
God.
earthquake. Was there an earthquake in Rome? No, it was a Travis Scott concert. This is on New York Times. So it said the 60,000 odd spectators jumped so vigorously that some locals panicked, thinking an earthquake was underway. Yeah, so when was this? This was August 9th, 2023 that it happened.
Wait, how can you dance to that song though? It doesn't even have like a beat where you could just like.
People were jumping up and down when you hit the middle part of it, and that was
What part
enough.
do you dance to? Like the fiend part, or fiend, or the fiend? Oh, what part do you dance to?
The Fiend.
Oh, that part.
Yeah, that part right there. So you know, you gotta have something to it. But the crowd
I hate that fucking song.
moving like that, I mean, is incredible. They really fucking they're dancing. He's got pyro and shit.
That's
You
what
can't
we
even
did
see
on
the
our
crowd
own.
because it's just a sea of people. Look at this. I mean,
I mean, we did that on
60,000
OnlyFans.
people are all right there, and they're all just jumping up and down.
Wait,
Nuts.
don't show the other footage. I see that. I see what's next. That's our OnlyFans clip.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm
play that.
on the button. Don't you worry. I've got that. I've got myself queued up. I even got a dump button. So if anything goes wrong, we're good to go. 7 seconds, baby. We don't have
Gotcha.
to be like H3. We don't need any content cops made on us. We just get the button. That's right. Do you like my button? I wonder. So we get into the main event. We got the Street Profits, buddy, taking on, defending their titles, of course, taking on the Motor City Machine Guns and DIY, not
What a
Fraxium.
fuck
Not
match. That was
Fraxium.
beautiful.
This was a fucking great match. Absolute poetry. I loved what they gave us here. And I love the fact that they barely went for the titles. They were more focused, absolutely, on beating the hell out of each other. They wanted to
Just that.
incapacitate their opponents so they could then easily climb the ladder and win. So they were all just straight up focused on beating the shit out of each other. And it was fantastic.
Loved it.
Loved it.
Best SmackDown main event in years.
Mm-hmm.
Even better, it was commercial free.
Pills are good. Yeah, no, this was fantastic. I don't want to go beat by beat here. I usually try and take quick notes and give you guys a minimum breakdown, but I'll be here for 3 hours if I try and explain this all beat by beat. But I mean,
Just now, it was an
they had
incredible-
multiple chairs and tables and ladders set up all along ringside. Tommaso Ciampa looked, like I said, a predator that can't be around schools. With him shaving, it was very odd. He looks unsettling, I will say. It is it's a little uncomfortable, but okay.
I didn't like the look. He needs the beard.
It's certainly bizarre. I'm a little like I said, little creeped out by the look. It's not great. It's yeah. He just looks very bland. It doesn't even look like him anymore. He just looks like a creative wrestler with a blank slate.
At first, I was because I was looking back up on my TV. I didn't realize it at first. I'm like, wait, who is that? And it was Tommaso Ciampa. I'm like, oh shit, he's shaved.
Yeah. I mean, he was already fresh shaved, but now super fresh shaved. It's just
Did he lose a bet or something?
I don't know. It's a weird look, though. I mean, I don't know what to make of that face, but that's some nightmare fuel right there. Without the beard, that's especially the nose. Oh, Ciampa. I'm sorry, bud, but something's got to get fixed.
That ain't it.
That ain't it, indeed. So they go ahead and they're all beating the hell out of each other. You see Ciampa and Chris Sabin fighting on a ladder that's basically set up underneath the belts, and that's immediately when Dawkins comes over and pushes that over. Ciampa even put a chair around Sabin's neck, and Gargano hit it with a second chair. That looked cool. DIY basically sets up 2 chairs back to back, and they're going to suplex Dawkins. And originally they had the chairs set forward facing each other so you would land on the actual seat of the chairs. But the evil bastards turned it around, and they were going to land him on the hard top parts, the backing of the chairs. So as they go for the suplex, he goes ahead and gets out of it, and yeah, it ends up being poor Johnny, who takes the big bump on top of both of these chairs, and ow, that looked like it hurt bad. The Profits go ahead and they smack each other a la Bubba Ray and Devon. Get the tables! They do. They're going outside. They bring tables in and set those up. And Montez Ford does a huge doomsday blockbuster on Ciampa to the outside. So Ciampa's sitting on Dawkins' shoulders. And he basically, they do it in a way where he's suplexed into the Doomsday Blockbuster all at once. Like, nuts. Absolutely nuts. The commentary brought it up a bunch. They showed it on replay. Incredible moment. That Blockbuster was badass. Took everybody down. That's when Montez goes ahead and he sees the ladder in the middle, and he starts to go ahead and bring the ladder over, but that's when Ciampa comes and slams his head into it. Oh, that looked brutal. Then Chris Sabin put Angelo through a table. He basically lays him down and hits a big splash dive onto him from the turnbuckles to the outside. That's great. Another table destroyed. And then we see Montez go ahead and he does a huge flip dive to the outside, and that puts Ciampa through a table on the floor. Now we've got This Is Awesome chance again. How can you argue with him? You can't. It is awesome. I mean, holy shit indeed, and they certainly deserve it. So they're getting all the all the accolades certainly now. Commentary's going nuts. Tessitore's losing his mind, and you see Tommaso Ciampa, Mr. Baldy, clean, climbs up slowly, and he's got Ford on his back, and he jumps off the apron through the ladder bridge. Sick. Sickening. Sickeningly nasty.
Oh.
Oof, that was brutal. Now, Ciampa goes to Johnny, tells him to go get the belts, and but now, basically, they start having to fight the Motor City Machine Guns. They're diving to the outside, and basically, you see Shelley dives over the top rope to put Gargano through a table while they have it set up to do Skull and Bones. So one standing, I think it's, like I said, I think Shelley, I know Sabin's standing on the table and he's holding Gargano, and then Shelley dives over and they do the Skull and Bones dual finisher, and you hear Joe Tessitore screaming, "I've seen it all now," going nuts. It was a great match. Ciampa tries to take over here, and he starts to climb the ladder. He grabs the belt, and he's got his hands just touching it, but now the guns move the ladder out from underneath him, and he's just holding on. He's holding on to the actual gigantic clothes hanger, the stupid thing, the goddamn bronze gold bar that shouldn't exist. Why do they not pull the belts down? I agree, Paul. It's just a little bit disappointing to not see them actually grab the belts. They're taking down the clip. Yeah, forget the brass ring, grab the golden clip. So, with the ladder moved and Gargano's hanging, they basically, you see, they move off to the side, and that's when Dawkins goes ahead and just spears the hell out of him right from off the ladder into the corner and just spears him. Loved it. He goes right through the table in the middle of the ring that was set up by the Motor City Machine Guns. Incredible. Such a great move. From here, you basically see all the teams trading punches, and eventually you see DIY get Montez Ford kind of stuck into the ladder, and that's when Johnny gives him a super kick in the head to kind of keep him trapped in there. And slowly you go ahead and you see Johnny Gargano, he's climbing up one side, Chris Sabin climbs the other, and they're trading punches one by one. They're both reaching for it, and that's when Montez Ford does a springboard leap from the corner of the ring turnbuckles to the ladder, climbs on the side of the ladder to get to the top, makes them headbutt each other. And now, basically, Tommaso pulls him down, and that's when he got stuck in the ladder, actually. Excuse me. That's when Johnny kicks him in the head. So now Johnny climbs back up, but Ford gets out of it, and he climbs up as well. And he goes and knocks Johnny down, reaches up, finally pulls himself, takes down the golden clip. And Street Profits retain.
Greatness.
22 minutes, 30 seconds. incredible. No commercial break for the last hour. Great decision for that. This really did not need any interruptions. They celebrated to close out the show. How this was not on WrestleMania, I know they needed something big for SmackDown, but the rematch for this could have been enough. This was special. This really honestly should have been at WrestleMania. I can't say that enough. This should have been at WrestleMania. We got a lackluster tag match night one with was it the War Viking Raiders experience taking on what's their name there? The New Day. And the New Day wins, and it was very, very anticlimactic. Like, what do we get out of it? The New Day, they turned heel months ago, and they've done nothing with them since. So to just give you that quick stop-start, they had the match thrown out the week before, so now they're champs with no momentum, no heat. I mean, people boo them, but it's not like it was. They were getting
put the titles
booed out of the building. Dominic
on them
Mysterio
instantly
side.
after turning heel.
They should have gotten those belts right away, or at least been put into
Dominic's
a
getting
program.
shielded.
Yeah, against somebody.
True.
Dominic's turning face. It looks like Liv and Raquel are going to turn face as well. Seems like Balor was
because
split
I doubt
off as a heel.
Balor goes face because Liv always gets good crowd reactions.
Oh, absolutely, and it just seemingly makes sense. You don't want to split them up, so you're going to have her and Dom both, turn and stay together. Just like we had Zelina Vega win the title tonight because her husband re-debuted. So, not saying she doesn't deserve it, but they did a 3-week tale to hurry up and basically give her the title, and that was it. They let her get a count-out victory, which was very weird. It seemed like that was a mistake and called as a shoot we had read for the news. And then we get into, of course, her win last week on the champ. And now she's got the title. It was an exciting SmackDown. The last hour, having no commercial breaks, made it flow well. It was fun. For the most part, it was exciting. The main event was worth the wait. I'd give this show a 7.5 or an 8 easily.
I'd give it a 7.
7. That seems fair. The only thing we have advertised for next week is The Miz taking on Aleister Black. And the only thing we have announced for Backlash, May 10th in St. Louis, Missouri, it's John Cena taking on Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Are they not saying undisputed champion anymore? It's just the WWE Championship? Interesting.
I'm not sure. They always change the name of that title.
Yeah, they've done that quite a few times. So, yeah, Charlotte turns a new face every few months. Not just heel and face, but a new face entirely.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, all in all, I enjoyed SmackDown. It was good, but they could have certainly given us a little bit more here. The wrestling was solid. Cody needed to be there. Even if he didn't interact with Cena, they needed something. And, I mean, we've backed Cody for, well over a year, but really an entire year for him to finish his story. And now for the last year, we've stood with him for all of the trials and tribulations that he's had. And he hasn't turned his back on the fans, and he hasn't abandoned or deserted us in any way, even when he was losing, even when he lost against Roman, even when he tore his pec and all these, challenges happened. He still continued to embrace the audience. And now we get silence. So, yeah, 7.5 seems right. I don't always like giving scores. I mean, a lot of it's based on emotion, obviously, but I feel like that's fair. 7 definitely feels in the realm of things. You have people overanalyzing everything The Rock says and does, and that's his fault because he set it up in such a way with the final boss character, Cody. You knew then, there's layers to it, and he's leaving Easter eggs for the fans. And now when he posted that video first saying that he was not going to Mania, that he was in Hawaii or whatever it was, and then the second video, or before that, that was the second video. The first video with him doing the Rubik's Cube, and he's got the skull in the back. He's got the skull. He's doing it like Vince. He has the T-Rex skull in his office as well. They both call it Stan, oddly enough, him and Vince, but that T-Rex skull is always where it is. So no, he's not making a Vince reference, or at least not intentionally. That was just background, plant, but still. People are analyzing and tearing apart everything The Rock does. Why? Because he set it up to be that way. He set the standard.
Yeah, some people have said it wasn't The Rock's fault.
No, it absolutely was. He got involved out of straight ego. Strictly ego. The Rock has the power to come in, veto things, naysay, push himself, do what he wants, and that's exactly what happened. And we're hearing it more and more. At Bad
But
Blood,
Cody Rhodes said no to turning heel.
yeah,
So he got pissy, so he probably left.
that's what it seems like. So the plans for Cena to turn heel were very extended in terms of like how long out they were planning this. And it seems like Rock heard this, said that he wanted Cody to turn heel because he thinks Cody's got a great heel turn in him, which he does, but let that be a while down the road.
And he always had to say you have to run things by John because he knows that he can't tell John what to do.
Exactly. And Punk was right with the bald fraud line, faking his goosebumps. You got to fake it to feel it. And The Rock fucked over a lot of fans intentionally.
Because now that CM Punk promo means nothing.
Yeah, so No DQ has it here. News regarding WWE's reaction to what The Rock publicly said about WrestleMania 41. So, talent said that the roster has always loved seeing The Rock at shows, but that the card is at the mercy of Dwayne. And they said that last year was something that they believed pulls The Rock in both ways. One person there we spoke to claimed The Rock didn't want to be seen as interfering with WrestleMania, but possibly didn't understand how integral he would be in the story. Bullshit. This was not an overcorrection. He went ahead and he wanted to be involved in Mania last year. The fans revolted. The Crody crybabies happened, and he got night one, but he didn't get his match with Roman. He didn't get to win the title and take out Roman and do everything like he had planned. So then it turned into, well, now I need Cody's soul. So on the Raw debut on Netflix, The Rock comes out, and we don't get Final Boss. We get Corporate Dwayne. So now we haven't seen you since you left something in Cody's hand, and it's supposed to reveal all this next story elements and long-term storytelling. That's all an excuse. Every time The Rock says, shut your mouth and let me take you on a ride, the ride is he has no idea where it's going, and that's just an excuse later on so he can say, see, long-term booking. Apparently when he did the 3, it didn't even have anything to do with Cena. He just counted that way, and then people were like, look, see, that's what it means, like myself included. Granted, so Dwayne goes ahead and shows up on... he shows up on Monday Night Raw. He comes out, and he's hugging Cody, and oh my God, we're going to share some tequila, my Terramana, my best man. We're gonna fuck... And we're going to suck, and we're going to love each other. Fuck, suck, and love. And it was like this. We
were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was confusing. It was baffling. Like, why is The Rock doing this? This doesn't make sense. He's friends with Cody now. Why? How? Okay, so then you had to realize, this is corporate Rock. He's being an executive. He's trying to make the company look good and he's calling out everybody from Netflix and all this stuff. Well, it leaves a lot to be desired, obviously. And now you have people, blasting and roasting The Rock for his WrestleMania no-show. And we mentioned this the other day, but The Rock shows up at Bad Blood, and then nothing, and then he shows up on Raw for the Netflix debut on the 6th. Makes his proclamation, says all his stuff, and then the next night he shows up on NXT, and it popped a big rating for them. They almost got 1 million. It helped them out, but it did nothing for the actual brand. He interacted with a few people, Ethan Page, haha, good, but the promo that he cut was so disjointed, so nonsensical. It proved that he literally went out there without a thought in his mind. He didn't know what he was going to say, and he meant it. So again, he did this stuff, and you just got to follow The Rock. The Rock's taking you on a ride. Long-term storytelling, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Weren't fucking Suck and Love former 6-man tag champs in NWA? They were. They were actually the longest reigning tag champs in NWA. So we now see The Rock show up at the Chamber, and John won clean. I mean, yes, Seth got involved, but he still did not cheat. He took advantage of a situation, but John won the Chamber. The only quasi-heel thing you could say that John did was entering himself in the Chamber without qualifying. So I said maybe you could say Cena knew he had to film for that whole month and a half. He wasn't going to be able to get in. He was worried. And The Rock said, I can make you qualify. I can get you in that match. I can put you in that match. Don't you worry. You just have to side with me, something. Because at the Chamber, The Rock wins. He's got Cody in the ring. They're embracing. They're hugging. He's smiling. He doesn't seem fake. They are cool. And now they're going to face each other. Face versus face. Cena, the greatest of all time, going for his 17th win. Taking on Cody fucking Rhodes. Great match. Great build. Easy to build. Everything we've gotten from John the past 8 years or so. Play up on the fact that John hasn't won a singles match in over how many 1,000 plus days. Bring up all these stats, these numbers. You play on John's ego. You play on John's hopes. You play on his dreams. What's his biggest goal? To get that 17th win. So by the time we get to Mania, his spirit, his confidence, his soul is so fractured, so broken, so decimated, so destroyed that he cannot function properly until he knows he is the WWE champion.
So
he cannot
doesn't give a
rest
shit
until
anymore.
he breaks that record.
So he'll get desperate.
Exactly. Now Cody's not going down. 1 AA, 2 AA, 3 AA. Can't do it. He just keeps
And
getting
John
up.
Cena gets more violent.
Exactly. He gets
In the
gets
match, he just-
violent, and then he
Build it up.
cheats. He uses the belt and he busts them open while the ref is down. But he doesn't do it once. He just keeps hitting him with the belt over and over and over. And finally, Cody, a bloody mess, who can't even get up to his feet, crying that his hero turned on him in such a violent way, kind of thing, gets defeated at WrestleMania in one of the most shocking conclusions to wrestling ever.
Like Elimination Chamber, like it was built up well as well. Because like when Seth hit that curb stomp to CM Punk, like John wouldn't want to win in that fashion, but
He didn't want to win in that fashion, but it still worked for it. He capitalized, so it fit
Because,
in with
like,
the pseudo heel. But
that's something he
that would
wouldn't
have been a
do.
great way to tell that story, and for the eventual slow burn build to the heel
So-
turn.
like I get why they did an Elimination Chamber at first because they thought The Rock was going to be involved.
Yeah,
But like they tried to build it up throughout the night because if you see during John Cena's entrance at Elimination Chamber, like he gives like this evil face.
Yeah.
And goes back to smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Then how he won the match, like he would usually make sure CM Punk's okay, but he didn't even do that. He went right for the kill and
So
made
The
sure
Rock
CM Punk was.
got his name back not that long ago. When the Netflix deal was made, he has full ownership and rights to The Rock. So now he could be Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and in perpetuity, he will perpetually get paid forever, Now, royalties aside, anything involving The Rock's name has to go through legal, has to be handled, and has to be, lock, stock, 2 smoking barrels ready to go. You can't just do something on the weekend. Like the Joe Hendry shirt right now is for sale. You can buy it, but it's not shipping to the end of May. Why? Because they didn't plan on him being at Mania. They only had a week to do it, so they didn't have the ability to print. So instead, they went ahead and prepared a ton of pre-orders. Hey, look at that. You guys want it? You get it. That's not what happened with The Rock's merch. The Rock's merch was there. That's right. We heard Joe Hendry. But The Rock didn't show up. Finally, The Rock has come back to Vegas. He's got the shirt
they
that
sold those
says
shirts,
it.
right?
They're selling. You see people in the audience wearing them. They were there.
Unfucking believable.
So It all comes down to The Rock no showing WrestleMania. Bubba Ray Dudley, hosting Busted Open with his colleague David LaGreca, he went viral for his rant about The Rock not being a part of the story. The Rock set it up. He started it. He was the catalyst for John's turn. It didn't make sense that John turned for The Rock, and then The Rock did not show up once for the entire build. So Bully Ray says, the Busted Open Nation, the way they connected the dots, they've earned my benefit of the doubt to sit back and enjoy what they're doing. But now, with everything that's going down in front of my eyes, they had no clue what the fuck they were doing this whole time. And he's right. He's basically saying The Rock explained that they can always return to the stories he's set up later down the line. He's like, maybe one day we'll come back to the soul. Don't go back to the soul. You already stooged it on the one that wasn't going to happen. So let's forget about Cody's soul. Unless I'm getting Cody versus The Rock one day, I don't think we need to see it. And he's not wrong. Like, what's the point? What are we getting? Why did Cena turn? He's saying I turned because of you people, but the fans didn't just suddenly start booing him. He was always booed. He was always the heel. He was always treated as such. I don't get why John turned. Same thing with Mariah May. She had no right or reason to turn. She won the title opportunity with her mentor by winning the Owen Hart Cup as a face. She walks up the ramp and then she kills Tony. Why? And again, it was never explained. These are the issues. So one of the biggest heel turns of all times happened, and they didn't follow up on it for weeks. And when they finally did, they made him say, "You people."
You would think it would have made sense at first. Well, it's not Cena's fault either because he needed The Rock there.
Yeah, granted, certainly.
With him.
And a lot of it just...
And The Rock said he had other obligations. What other obligations has he been doing?
So if you have other obligations, fine, but why stand up or start any of this in the first place?
Because he did the cutthroat to Cena saying, take him out.
It's confusing.
Because if you go back to the Elimination Chamber press conference, The Rock was saying him and Cena had some plan.
I don't know. I don't get it sometimes. The story needs an explanation. Why did John turn? Why?
The Rock needs to come back and fix this.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he doesn't come back now and stays away, fine. We can get away far from it without him being involved, I guess. Especially since the Mania match already happened and Cody's been vanquished. We move on. But post Orton, I don't want to just see John facing the flavor of the week. I want to see actual substance to his feuds. I want to see rhyme, reason, storytelling. I don't want to just see dream matches because, yes, I want to see him have the dream matches like with him and Punk and Hendry, and there's people I want to see him face. But not like this.
Orton just seems forced because, it's his last year, so he's came out of nowhere. Into somewhere.
I mean, it is random. So I don't know. That's pretty much it for the SmackDown talk, everybody. We've nailed this repeatedly throughout the week. I mean, into somewhere. WrestleMania week is pretty much concluding here. This is it. This is the last WrestleMania week edition. We'll be live Sunday with the TNA Rebellion pay-per-view. But as far as SmackDown, we gave it our grades. We've gone over our final thoughts. That's really everything. I feel like we've covered it all as deeply detailed as it can be. The only thing we have announced, as we said, for next week is Aleister Black and The Miz. That should be fun. That'll be a showcase of Black and what he's capable of. Get him reacclimated and acquainted with audience members that aren't familiar with him. It'll be a good time. But besides that, I mean, they're basically just building towards Backlash at this point, and hopefully it's a good show.
I hope so too.
I'm excited to see what we get from Raw.
Sorry,
NXT, you're good. NXT has been really, really damn good. We saw on Raw some of the girls, Julia and Roxanne working together. Julia seems like she's going to be a heel, which is right up her alley. I'm excited to see. Yeah, it may look Cody look weak. I mean, granted, but
Yeah, they
This
made me
doesn't
look
make
weak.
Cody look grand either. So,
No, it doesn't. Sorry, guys.
exactly. I was trying to think of one of the other. Oh, so I always watch police body cam footage all the time, like EWU,
Oh yeah, I've seen some
Explore
of
with
them.
Us, and all that. I think
that
I
you
sent
sent
you
me.
one the other day, but it was from right up the street from my house from back
Oh,
in
yes.
January. Yeah, so I went to school with that guy's nephew, and his
Oh
name was
shit! So
Tommy.
you knew?
Yeah, and I knew the uncle briefly, the one that got shot, but he, in the bed, I guess, shot himself in the chest and didn't die, and he was bleeding. And when he did that, his current girlfriend, who had only been with him for a few weeks, called 911, and he was pissed because he wanted to bleed out. Apparently, he was very depressed and had a lot of things going against him. And he couldn't just get himself to do it. He couldn't work up the nerve to kill himself. And the entire time he is arguing and baiting cops into executing him. And finally he grabs his gun off the bed and points it at the cops, and that's when they both fire shots and he was gone. And it's a horrible situation. Suicide by cop is it's a brutal thing to have to deal with, but those officers, well, the first one was really messed up. I remember them talking about it in the paper here for a while, obviously.
So the officer,
Both of them were
wanted to go
cleared.
out,
They did
or-
nothing wrong. They said the shooting was good. They protected themselves and took appropriate action. And they tried. They tried to communicate with him for to get him to get help. Nothing. He didn't want to put the gun down. He didn't want to live. And it's
So he was
so
purposely
selfish
trying
to maybe ruin's the wrong word, but you don't know how much it affected them. But to scar these officers because you want to die, how selfish can you be to ruin them for life? Possibly. It's just it's a really shitty situation, but it was weird in a way to be like, oh my god,
What do you think about
I
those
know these
situations
people, I
though?
know
Because
the
I've seen
area.
that online before. I
In
don't
what-
know if we're getting controversial, but like
no. In what
people
way?
that like have like this depression and wanna do that to themselves, and some
Yeah.
people are saying they should, if they really don't want to be on Earth anymore, they should have the free will to choose.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that personally, but
No,
I think you should get help. But
granted, I agree
some
with you there. Yeah, I would prefer the help option.
some people say that they should be able to just choose a peaceful way to go out if they truly just don't want to.
Could be. I mean, suicide is a tricky thing because it is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. No matter what you're facing, typically there's a way out of it, or a way to change, or a way to
It's very
adapt,
sad.
or get through. When my cousin hung himself, and leaving his daughter behind, I couldn't truly fathom his mindset. I had talked to him just a few days before. He was waiting for Santa to come for his daughter, and he had a fight with his ex, and that was it.
I had a cousin, or my uncle. Thankfully, he's alive still, but I've told you about that. Like,
yeah.
it's sad to see people go through that.
Well, mental health is a real problem, and
Nothing to ever joke about. That's why I hated when I was accused of.
Oh, I know it burns your ass, and especially when you with someone. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm all for making jokes, and you can say things in the right setting, But Women's Triple Threat got 5 stars. It deserved it. I mean, that was an amazing.
On to
match.
other things, though. What did you think about the WWE roast that the IWC is crying about?
Most of the jokes were very, very, very,
very standard.
mild. Like like some of my stupid Tommy roast jokes that I came out the week before. Yeah, there's some
What was
device
the worst
causing
thing that was
playback,
said?
but I'll figure it out. Yeah, but we went ahead and messing around with that, and we were having a good time. But let me pull up the roast jokes. Yeah, they weren't, like you said, they were very bland.
By the way,
simple.
people complaining about this, like it could have been a lot worse, and granted, I wouldn't have minded then if it was a lot worse, because you know what you're signing up for going to those.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Not wrong. So let me go ahead and pull these up really quick so everybody can see them. We'll let you guys join in the fun. So here we go. most of these are pretty tame. Honestly, I don't think any of them. They're roast jokes. You know, it's not. You know what you're getting into. So Jinder Mahal wasn't at WrestleMania because he's having a midlife ISIS. That's pretty stupid. At WrestleMania, Jey Uso was the underdog, which is what Nakamura ate for dinner tonight.
See, these aren't even that bad.
That's not even. I know, but that's not even funny. Like that's the problem. Like
It's
most
like
of these jokes are just like
boring.
so cliche, overused. Roast
Were the
jokes,
wrestlers
like,
doing these jokes?
some of them. Some were actual comedians, and others were talent. So I know Fluffy, that comedian, Gabriel Iglesias was up there. Tony Hinchcliffe, Braun Strowman, Paul Heyman. So Paul Heyman made jokes about Maurice's private parts. Oh no, she was in Playboy. You think she gives a shit? How dare you?
I heard. Who was the host of this? That's the guy that does roast
Yeah,
all the
Hinchcliffe.
time. What's his name?
Tony Hinchcliffe.
I-
He runs Kill Tony.
Him and Paul Heyman. He got mad at. Right?
Yes. No, I guess
Or what?
not him. The other one, Fluffy. Gabriel Iglesias
Fluffy guy.
got upset with him for a joke he made, and I guess he took it serious. So pretty ridiculous, no doubt about it. Jacob Fatu became the U.S. champion, which is crazy because if he was the president of the United States, or if the president saw Jacob, he would deport him to El Salvador. Heyman said Shayna Baszler has a penis. That's kind of funny. CM Punk is straight edge
that
from...
one's a good one.
Yeah, that one was bad. CM Punk is straight edge from drugs, alcohol, and winning at WrestleMania. That's a good burn. Yeah, Roman said some of this in interviews. I mean, it's not... Yeah. So, Naomi and Jade Cargill had their match. When it comes to their rivalry, we've only just begun, and they will face off again at In Your Waffle House. The weave line is funny, but the Waffle House, that's like... Yeah, that's stupid. CM Punk, we mentioned. So, Jey Uso is still out celebrating
What are
and
people
hitting the
offended
bar.
about?
Some of the Charlotte stuff. They said his history shows he'll have a nice drive home tonight. A DUI joke. That was funny. People think that's inappropriate to attack people, like for the DUIs, for Freddie Prinze Jr.'s father's suicide, for some of the... They just offended by the jokes in general. They're saying that they shouldn't have been said, and they go too far, and they cross the line. And I'm like... Charlotte was the main source of the attack. There were several jokes made regarding her divorce and her plastic surgery. I went to go listen to it, and it got taken down like in minutes. So people were putting clips up of the roast. But I guess Charlotte tweeted out afterwards saying, like, whatever, I'll just wrestle. I'll focus on myself kind of idea. Nia Jax is into BDSM. Her safety words are down, set, hut. See, that's funny. Allegiant Stadium is so big and black that Hulk Hogan wouldn't let his daughter anywhere near it. That's okay. Like, that's a common one. I basically said the same thing because that's a basic roast joke. But
These people are mad about this?
yeah, it's 420, a day of celebration for pot smokers and Christians. It's also Hitler's birthday, so it's probably a celebration for Gunther, too. That's a good one. I wanted Nakamura to appear at the roast, but a tariff got put on his booking. That's all right. Tony said he wanted Del Rio at the roast, but WWE had yet to turn that page. But that
was the most generic out of them all.
Yeah, that was shitty. Out of all the page stuff you could have had, turn the page. Come on, you could have done better than that. He's not a great comedian. He's good at what he does for Kill Tony. He brings up amateur comedians and then makes fun of them for not doing great in a minute span.
What's the one that you go to?
Legion of Skanks.
Is that him?
No, that's not these guys. I wish the Legion of Skanks did this. They're the ones that run Skankfest. So Big J, Okerson, Louis J. Gomez.
They probably would have
Dave
come up
Smith.
with better jokes, I'm guessing.
Jay is like one of the best at crowd work comedy. So like when you just have no plan and you just go out and talk to the audience and then just make joke. He's really good at that on the fly, spontaneous.
This is just not funny, not because it's offensive. It's just
not funny. Yeah, it's just not creative enough to be funny. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I was worried what was being said because people were like so offended. I'm like, what the hell was said? And I'm like, and then I
yeah,
read the
people
transcript
acted
and
really
it's
upset
like,
by some of it, and I was shocked. I was like, God damn,
and I'm
you
like,
know?
nothing was said. I'm like, have you ever been to a roasting?
Yes, I've been to a couple of them. I've been to roast battles.
Yeah, I've been to a few of them. Like, they're a lot worse.
Oh yeah,
And I think, like,
that's the point of them. Absolutely,
we joke on here all the time. You joke to me, and I don't get offended.
exactly. Everybody,
You make fun. You make fun of me, and I just like laugh.
exactly. You make fun of me, and we joke with each other. Like that's how it should be, you know. And we don't. There's a difference. Like I wouldn't if something happened. Oh, your mom died today. Let's go ahead and make fun of it. Like there's levels. There's lines. You don't. You know,
Yeah.
but there's also like, oh, there's nothing that shouldn't be joked about. And I kind of agree with that too, but it's all a matter of context. If you're genuinely kidding and it's like a joke can be offensive and funny in the same regards.
Like not to bring like it was like friendly banter because nothing was really that wrong with me. Like when I had to get my colonoscopy, you were making like funny jokes about that and like
Yeah. Because you were a little
It's
nervous and it
just-
made you relax and enjoy yourself in the sense of like you could calm down.
yeah, because
and
I was
feel,
nervous about it, and then so
Yeah.
you made jokes about it, so
Exactly. And then
It'd be
that
better.
got you through. Exactly. That, you know, humor helps. And it
yeah,
is some
it
of the
helps
best
me
medicine.
cope too. Like if you make fun of something, like I'll end up laughing about it.
Yeah, I'm the same way too.
So-
I want things to be less serious, more fun involved. Like a man
Like with
that
the George
smuggled.
stuff, like
yeah, exactly. That the George stuff.
like you
was
made fun of it,
ridiculous.
that helped me.
Yeah, because he's ridiculous. You know, it certainly was just him being jealous, and it's like
If people
Words
don't
on a
get about
screen.
that, that's a running gag when we bring up somebody and I say that's me.
it is you in all
So
your
it's good.
1,000 accounts. You know,
And remember, he was accusing me because we were like on a thing, and you wanted to go check his thing, and he was accusing me while I was talking to you.
Yeah. And Corey did tell me Cody Rhodes is winning the 2023 Rumble was a Vince call. Roman Reigns watched an interview. He even said this. Yeah. So, interesting. And that was a Vince call. See? So, makes sense. But yeah, I try and add humor to things when necessary. You have to know when it's appropriate and not. Like now, like I said, the TSA, I can't even talk TNA. I still got that. Sunday, TNA will be there for the review. Don't miss it. But Rebellion's going to be a blast. But the TSA caught a man smuggling a live turtle in his pants at the New Jersey airport on Friday. So the guy got all the way past the first set of checks. And then when he went through the body scanner, the alarm went off. And as they were doing the pat down, they noticed he was concealing something in the groin area of his pants. When questioned further, the man reached into his pants and pulled out the large turtle, which was about, they said about 5 inches long and wrapped in a small blue towel. He said it was a red ear, small here, slider turtle, a species that is popular as a pet. I wonder how much those cost if he's smuggling it. Let's see. They look kind of cool. How much do they cost? $40. Red ear slider turtles. So why is he smuggling this thing if you could just get one for $40 at a pet store? Turtle.
Yeah, I got the transcript here. I'm just reading the rest. None of these offend me.
Yeah. Are there
See,
any other
this
ones?
is how like me and you
Exactly. It's
will
how we
fucking talk
all
to each other,
banter
make
with
fun of
each other. I don't think there's any other
If you
that
said-
really stand out.
You know me. If you said any of these jokes to me, would I get mad?
Yeah, you get mad because they're shitty jokes.
Oh yeah, probably that's what I would get mad at. I'm like, if you're
You'd be
gonna
like,
make fun
fuck
of me,
this
please.
bullshit. I'm gonna rip your chest hair out line by line if you pull that shit with me. No, really, I'm just like I am a little bit taken aback, not understanding why people went so nuts over this. But then again, when you look at how easily people are offended nowadays, and
It didn't come out that any of these wrestlers were offended.
no, I mean they Paul Heyman even said he
With
sat
Charlotte?
there and told Braun Strowman the reason you weren't at WrestleMania is because you suck. Said it right to his face.
I don't think Charlotte even cared.
She
That's
wasn't
why she
there,
figured it
so
out.
that's
I
why
don't know.
she's upset, I guess, because she was being attacked while she wasn't able to defend herself. Whatever.
Which is understandable in a way, I guess, because like Maybe it should have been for the people that were
Cody
there
was the
because,
genetic
like, he was,
legacy.
like-
You know, I thought DiBiase was going to be the bigger name. I didn't see a lot in Cody Rhodes when he was early on with WWE. I wasn't happy with Cody tonight either. I don't know why he was not there. They advertised him as such. He was supposed to appear. Get rid of Bronze Choo Choo. Yeah. You know, I didn't envision Cody being the most famous out of everybody, you know, but he's out of that whole class and era. He did it, though.
Keep rereading these transcripts.
Yeah.
Still nothing.
Any other good jokes, though, or nothing?
The women's tag team title match, he said it was a bathroom break match, all that.
Is he wrong?
I mean,
Tell me when he's telling lies. Come on, Paul. He was in Disney World, Cody? I mean, you could take his daughter to Disney at any point in time. What the hell are you doing, Cody? You're supposed to be in Texas.
I'm sorry, I should have went to Texas.
You know what? I see some of these things and it makes me sick inside because...
You know, like, when I message Liv, like, she's reposted me in her story, and then people think I'm Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. You're instantly...
Like,
you know,
I'm like, no.
That's my other account.
Yeah, they're like, are you Cody Rhodes?
That's my backup.
Then I say, are you a part of the Judgment Day?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
no, you go
at
ahead.
this point, I should be.
The-
Liv and Dom are looking for new members. Hire me.
This is insane.
And some
So-
bitches don't want to hire me.
God, I'm telling you, if you're not getting a job, I'm never getting a job. Jesus. Look at this shit.
Yeah.
So a while back during COVID, I went nuts tearing my basement apart because when I was a kid, my mom worked at the ice cream place in the center of town, and in the back of it, they had cards and comics, all sorts of stuff like that. So, long and short of it is, I did all the grimy, crappy jobs that nobody else wanted to do, and lo and behold, I got paid in comics and cards and all that stuff. So when Pokemon first became really popular, I had in like the graded packs, you know, like the actual like the soft shell and the hard shell plastic and all that. I had the every single Pokemon card collected, you know, in their package and all the holographics, the entire set. That, the Star Wars cards, stuff like that put aside. So I went nuts going through the basement and I tore everything apart. And when I finally found the box where my cards were, there was a few comics and stuff like that left in there that's like autographs from Ron Garney and whatnot, but cards were all gone. My dad pawned them all. And to hear that those cards were going for like $2 to $4 million at one point, oof. We were talking about, you know, slower side before, talk about wanting to jump off a bridge then, but then I see shit like this, and it totally removes any faith that I did have in humanity, because a fucking hot Cheeto had 60 bids on it, and it sold for $72,000 plus the buyer's premium. The main headline here said, Pokemon-shaped Cheeto sells at auction for $87,840. It looks like a Charizard. I'll give you that much. It does. It really does. It looks pretty cool. You see the wings and, oh yeah, Cheetozard. But is that worth almost $90,000 fucking dollars? I mean, help me out here, folks.
I'm sorry.
Probably got a night off knowing that I found out what I found out. And then he probably, yeah, well, hey, you know what? Cody, he went on vacation with his family. He should have been there to beat Cena's ass, but instead he thought it was more important to be at Disney. So then we got a man accused of swallowing almost 800 grand worth of diamonds from a Florida Tiffany's. So the guy, 32 years old, was arrested in the end of February. So according to the affidavit, he told store employees he was there to negotiate a purchase for an unnamed Orlando Magic player. He was taken to a private room and shown a diamond ring worth $587,000 and two sets of diamond earrings worth $609,000 and $160,000 apiece. But during a discussion about using a wire transfer, The man allegedly jumped out of his seat, grabbed the jewelry, and ran to the door. As he attempted to leave the VIP room by violently pushing and pulling the doors open, he got into a scuffle with an employee who reportedly knocked a diamond ring from his hand. He still had the earrings and was able to elude other store employees and get out of the store into a getaway car in the parking lot. Detectives were able to identify the vehicle he was in and stopped him on Interstate 10. So when they found him, is a little hard to swallow the news. So when he was taken into custody, he resisted arrest and was seen swallowing several objects believed to be the stolen earrings. So they did a body scan and found foreign objects in his body. After they passed through his system to confirm that they're diamonds, he'll then be charged more. So you can see the x-ray here of where it showed up in his stomach. Let me pull this up. But so they basically had to wait around for this man to shit out $800,000 worth of diamonds. I don't know if you want to buy those back, lady, but there you go. Look at that right here. There's a big set of diamond earrings. Could you imagine my wife? I got you earrings, but somebody bought them, ate them, and shit them out. But they were on discount. No? Would you mind buying your wife the shit earrings, Cody?
I mean, discount? I mean...
Right? If it's for the right price, you never know.
Here's my thing. You know me, though, in reality, like, I don't want fancy gifts. When I get gifted and anything, I'll just say thank you. I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't have to be any, unless it's from you, baby.
You know it. Then I send you,
You
the
gotta-
big bills, but I just... When you deal with that amount of money, it becomes insurmountable to really count and add and figure out. And you look at people like an Elon Musk, and here we are, you, I, all of us. You're doing DoorDash, and I'm fighting insurance, and every little bit so you could scrape and claw. And when you're walking down the road, if I see like a nickel or a dime, I'm not picking it up. Forget it. Not worth my time. A quarter, maybe, but $1. I'm stopping. You know I'm grabbing that $1. Most money I ever found on the ground was $70, a 50 and a 20. It wasn't that long ago either. I was at Mystic Aquarium, and I was walking with Courtney's mother and my wife's sisters and family, and I saw a puddle off to the side, and it had a green reflection in it, and I looked, and I'm like, that looks like money. So I went over, and I just stepped in the puddle. And my sneakers all soaked. Everyone's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got to tie my shoe. And as soon as they started to step up, I took my foot out of the puddle, and I reached down because I didn't want anybody else to see it. And I grabbed the bills.
I found a
and I'm
few
like,
hundred from someone one time.
Nice. It was $70.
I saw them drop the money too, like a few $100 bills, and they were rich. You could tell by their car and stuff. So I told them, so it's different. So I told them, I'm like, here you go. And then they're like, for being honest, you can keep it.
Wow. Look at that.
Oh,
See?
shit, thanks.
I've been honest as well and not getting...
That means you know they have money if they're like,
yeah,
all
if they're
right,
like, hey,
keep it.
but hey, also you learned a good lesson. You know, honesty repays. If I see the person drop it, or if I know who the money belongs to, I will give it back to them. But if that has no claim, that's going in my pocket.
Yeah, if I see the person drop it, I'll always try to give it back.
Yeah, I will not steal or take for somebody. Like, I've seen people drop their wallets. One guy dropped his wallet at Stop and Shop, a senior guy, and his wallet it had like 2 cards in it, his license and 1 bank card, and it was filled. And I mean filled with money. And I mean so filled. And Stop and Shop has the bank attached to it too. So I saw it, and I was like, oh, he must have went to the bank first, walked around the store, not realized he dropped it. And I went, and I was just as I was walking to customer service, I looked at the ID, and I looked to the left of me, and I'm like, oh shit, that's him. And I went up to him, and I gave it to him, and he was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And he had some big important bill to go pay, and that's where he was going, and that's why he had all the money. He didn't offer me any money, but I felt good at least knowing he had to do something important, you know.
You should have put your hand out saying,
well, you could have missed all of it. I figure I'd get at least half. Womp womp. No, he didn't give me shit.
Yeah, you're trying to be reasonable, like 50-50. Come on.
My last time my buddy Nate was here, right before he moved, we would always, I don't want to say always, but now and again, his obsession was milkshakes, and he was a skinny bastard too. He was trying to put weight on. So he would, especially Shamrock shakes. So when it was like March time,
Oh, I love Shamrock shakes.
he would go twice a day minimum, sometimes 3 times a day for these fucking Shamrock shakes. And
Are you talking about me or him?
we ended up being the hard drive bandits, so we weren't exactly doing the most legal things, but hey, whatever. So he had his own Amazon and eBay store, and he would buy, years before this got popular, he would buy pallets from like Go Cow Boom and whatnot. So you would get a gigantic pallet for a couple of grand, and you don't know what's in it. It could be 10 iPads, and 2 of them are brand new and working, and the rest are returned because they're broken. You can get a bunch of laptop batteries. You can get
They're
a
very
working
popular
computer.
now.
Now they are, but then he would get great
There's
deals.
this app called Whatnot, if you've heard of it.
No, I haven't, but
people do like these
I get the
giveaways
idea,
on there. That's
so.
where I won that PS5.
What's going on, El Juggalo? What's crack-a-lackin'? Pop that fuego. So we went ahead, him and I, and while we were returning hard drives to Best Buy, we went and we would always go by this McDonald's, and there was these 2 guys out front. One of them had a sign, homeless, hungry, anything will help. And he had a bunch of points on the app and whatnot, so it worked out where he had like all these different coupons saved up, and we got a sack of food. I mean, he got like a bunch of cheeseburgers, a couple of Big Macs, all this stuff, and we're like, oh, these guys are going to be happy. We got him a shit ton of food. So he's driving, and we go ahead, and he rolls down the window, and we're all feeling good about ourselves, and we're like, here you go. And the guys, the 2 homeless guys, they grab it, they open it, they look through, they kind of scruffle around, and they're like, we want the money, not the food. And they kind of like toss the bag back in. And I was so like heartbrokenly pissed at that point. I'm like, fuck it. Nate, we're going to eat it. And him and I sat there like housing cheeseburgers just out of spite. Out of like pure fuck you
In front
spite.
of them?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But they threw
I'm
the
sorry,
food
but,
back.
like,
They're like, we don't want the food. We want money. I'm like, well, now you get fucking neither.
Here's my thing. When people are homeless, that's what I do. That's what my dad does as well. Like, I'd rather buy them food.
Yes. I wasn't homeless, but my grandmother and I, when she got into a huge fight with my step-grandfather, we ended up staying in her car for a week, and then past that, we went and we stayed in her mother's old house, but it didn't have any heat, power, nothing like that. Like, it was as close to roughing it as you get. And we stayed there for the next 3 weeks on top of it. So I've done the, like, sleep in your car, and I didn't sleep outside, but I know what it's like being hungry. Even my fat ass at that point knew what it was like to be hungry. And I'll never forget, my grandmother and I went to Easter at Burger King. That's where we ate Easter dinner, and it was still kind of chilly and cold out. And we didn't have much, and I wanted to get something. I was like 12, I think, maybe 13. I wasn't that old. And I asked my grandmother, I was like, I'm still hungry. Can I grab whatever? And she was like embarrassed. She's like, yeah, I don't have it. We should save it for tomorrow. And this lady came over, and she gave us $20 without asking. And it was like the biggest deal in the world because we needed it, you know? And it was just like this random act of kindness that stands out. And I've done things like that before, too. I've gone and, like, paid tabs at stores when I could. And, you know, that's why the Extra Life thing is so important to me, because I like, in general, giving back. But I like the idea of doing good. You know, you try and be helpful. And not everybody's good. Not everybody wants help. And you can't save everybody, but I do like to try. You know, put a little bit of good back in the world. It doesn't always equal out.
I just get afraid, like, giving homeless people money because I'm afraid they're going to use it on.
Yeah, money is typically, you know, the root of evil for them. It's hard because people bring up addiction, and, you know, former co-hosts that I've worked with have kind of stood on one side of it where, like, you know, all addicts are scum, and there's a really nuanced conversation to be had because a lot of people don't deserve to be called or labeled in such a way, but victims of circumstance, you know, like I was talking about my former friend. He went ahead and he was playing softball and got hit in the face with the softball. The guy, Nate, was sliding into second, and then he was, as he was moving forward, the guy went to go throw the ball to first, but he hadn't let go yet, and he made contact with his face, and it caved in. So he was in the hospital at Yale for a very long time, and they put his face back together with this titanium mesh and all of that fun stuff. And lo and behold, I mean, they put him back together again, but they had him on high pain meds the entire time he was there. And I mean, round the clock, IV diluted every bit of the way because they don't want you in pain, but they do it for the 3+ months that he's there. And then they send you out with one, pain script for that bottle, and that's it. And they've basically turned you into an addict. Your body's physically dependent on it. You don't know what to think or expect. At least doctors are a bit more aware and cognizant of it today. You're not seeing pain meds get thrown out like Tic Tacs like it was, but it also sucks that the people that need it can't always get it either. It's a very difficult and dangerous system, unfortunately. Sadly. A lot of it is, learned experience and whatnot, but yeah, that is frustrating. I don't know why in this stream I can still hear myself. There is something causing like a monitor playback, but I'll figure it out eventually. We've come a long way, my friend. When we started this endeavor of really focusing on the channel, we've come quite a ways. We're slowly approaching 5,000 subs, and I'm extremely appreciative of that. I'm getting a good amount of likes and comments. People are enjoying what we put out. So thank you all for hanging out here and joining us and always supporting these things. It means a lot. I
always
wanted to just bullshit with you while I ran a few tests and did some side stuff after the SmackDown review. But I'm also, in due time, it won't be long at all. I'm going to be bringing back the UCR podcast, so unapologetic and completely random. Looking to do that once a week. My wife and I used to record. That was a ton of fun. It'd be cool to bring guests on and just a little bit of non-wrestling content to sprinkle in.
I'll
for
be
those
on
that
it.
Want it. Yeah, I mean, I know everybody wants to be a part of stuff, so it'd be a lot of fun. And that's kind of a goal of the future, branch out a little bit and keep building the audience and making people have a good time is the goal of it all. We're getting there, as I learn. XSplit is anything but easy. I really chuckled when Patrick was here because he was like watching me go nuts for that chamber review. And he's like, wow, there's a lot that goes into streaming more than just clicking a button and talking. And I was like, yeah, it's quite the production usually. Liz will tell you. And Pico said he'd be on. He doesn't require payment either. Hey, look at that. And I'll keep his funds. But yeah, I think it'd be fun to get viewers in on it and take some questions always. And there's a lot of good topics to do. But unapologetic and completely random will be making its return. I am greatly looking forward to that. We had some shorts doing well recently. We released those. I have a clip from the old UCR podcast in there that I thought was pretty damn funny. It should be a good time here. I'm sneakily going to go ahead and where is it? Copy link. There we go. We'll see if it works for us or not. Sometimes this computer wants to agree with me. Other times not so much. Let's see. You ready? Da, 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 da.
There was a Florida man arrested for having sex with a stuffed
It's so quiet. Why is it so quiet?
not for the children's aisle or the people that had to clean it up, but do you want to build a snowman?
Why is it so quiet? Well, I'll figure out the audio after. It's so quiet. But UCR podcast, check out the shorts. It will be released soon. We're going to be bringing that back. And you guys can always go ahead, submit content, submit topics you want to go ahead and discuss. You can leave it in the comments down below, or you can contact me on Twitter at CountdownEnded. And you can go ahead and send me a message there. DMs are open. I try to respond pretty faithfully. You may catch me in an odd moment, but if I don't reply to you immediately, don't think I hate you. Something came up. I'm not mad. I will be back. I try my best to do what I can to get back to people as quick as possible. So if that's you and I didn't reply yet, just know I'll get there. But anything else to add in, sir, before we get out of here on this late Friday night, early Saturday morning?
No, I think we pretty much covered our bases.
We did indeed. We went over all of SmackDown. We had a good time there. It was fun to go ahead and have a nice little chat on the SmackDown side of things with a great TLC match to close the show. I gave it about 7.5. I said maybe an 8. I think it's a little too high. 7.5 seemed like a fair score. Cena, RKO, that was good. Good fun.
Somewhere.
Yeah, the tag team TLC is the highlight. Zelina Vega, the new Women's United States Champion. Aleister Black makes his return. We got a match with him and The Miz next week. Things are brewing. Got a lot to look forward to. But don't forget, we'll be live this Sunday. That's right. TNA Rebellion. Going to be having guests. Going to be a big review after the pay-per-view. Excuse me. The watch-along will be on the Wrestling for Life YouTube. You can check them out over there. You can also check out Spaz at the Spaz Phoenix Podcast. His YouTube channel will be linked down below. Cody, let the nice people know where they can find you, my friend.
You can find me over on Twitter or X, whatever you like to call it, at Judgment Day Error. See, I'm saying error. Well,
error? Yeah, Judgment Day Era.
Well, see, I can't speak English, folks.
You and me both tonight. We were both
a little
doomed.
tipsy.
Hey, it works for me. So they can find you on Twitter at Judgment Day Era and then on Instagram at Cody_Onidi316, correct?
Yes.
All right, I got that down. And I'm going to steal Spaz. If you don't know where to find me, you wouldn't be here, right? So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you got all that lovely jazz done down below. And folks, have a great weekend. We'll see you Sunday. And as always, stay sexy.